This is an A1 exclusive. This is an A1 exclusive.
Waiting on everybody to get up here.
This is an A1 exclusive. A1 exclusive. This is an A1 exclusive. This is an A1 exclusive. This is an A1 exclusive.
Okay, okay. Let me take this link down off the screen. Turn this down a little bit. Thank you very much. You know what? Let me change the title of this. I'm about to do a watch video and break some shit down. The misuse of genetics and pseudoscience. Um, with Dr. Jennifer Raff. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with her. She's pretty dope. Let me go ahead and change it. You know what? I'll do that as we're playing the video. Let me share my screen for y'all. And let's go.
All right, awesome. Non-boring of this. So thank you all for coming. And this microphone is really strange. Okay. And thank you so much to the organizers of this fantastic conference for inviting me. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. I've met a lot of really interesting people and get to hang out with my family. So I know everybody's eager to get to prom, and so I promise I'm going to stay on time, and I promise, even though it's a talk about genetics, I'm going to keep it as non-boring as possible. So there will be no Punnett squares, and there will be no Hardy-Weinberg equations, promise. But there is going to be a lot of science. It's going to be very sciencey, so I hope you guys are all okay with that. All right, awesome. Oh, and one other thing, I wanted to let you know that I will be showing a few photos of human remains in this talk. They are specifically crania from the Paracas culture of Peru. I don't do this lightly. I don't usually show human remains in a talk unless I really have no other way of getting a point across. So I just wanted to let you know that that's going to happen. The slides are going to come up early in the talk during the discussion of the first genetic myth that I'm going to talk about. Okay, so I'm an anthropological geneticist with a special interest in science communication. My work primarily focuses on the genetic diversity and the prehistory of the Americas. And so a lot of the examples that I'm going to be talking about today are going to come from Native American populations. And in my work, in talking about the prehistory of the Americas, it's brought me into a lot of contact with pseudoscience. And so I'll get to that, and that's kind of what is prompting this talk. So I'll get to that soon. But first, I kind of want to talk to you about what exactly an anthropological geneticist is. It's kind of a mouthful, and I don't think too many people know what we do. So I'm going to start with that. Anthropological genetics is a subdiscipline of biological anthropology. Biological anthropology concerns itself primarily with the question, what does it mean to be human from a biological perspective? Anthropological geneticists work on all aspects of human and sometimes non-human genetics. And in general, the field addresses two main questions. Yes, laser pointer, which you totally can't see. Okay, never mind, don't need it. How do humans differ genetically, and how have aspects of human histories shaped these genetic differences? Much of human history has left its signature in our genomes. And anthropological geneticists study both ancient and modern DNA in order to uncover these signals. So we use the methods and the theory of genetics to address evolutionary and cultural questions of human history. We look at different sets of ancestry markers in the human genome, and I'm going to be talking about a couple of them today. The first, mitochondrial DNA, is DNA present in the mitochondria of your cells. It has a separate genome from what you would think of as in the chromosomes and in the nucleus. And this DNA is maternally inherited. So your mitochondrial lineage is the same as your mother's and her mother's and her mother's and so on. It's non-recombining, so it doesn't swap genes with your chromosomes. And it's present in hundreds to thousands of copies per cell. This makes it a really good target for ancient DNA research because, as we'll be talking about soon, ancient DNA is fragmented and scarce. So having a lot of it in a sample is what you really want. And so that's why a lot of ancient DNA studies have targeted mitochondrial DNA in order to study the genetic prehistory of a population. But as you might imagine, because it's just maternally inherited, it only tells the story of a small part of your ancestry. And in order to get information about your father's lineage and your paternal history, if you have a Y chromosome, which many of us don't, you have to study the Y chromosome DNA. And again, that also only provides you with a small subset of your history, but it can be used complementary to the mitochondrial studies. A third approach that's becoming more common these days tracks autosomal markers across the genome. So whole genome sequencing captures information from all of an individual's ancestors, as you can sort of see in this photo, and it yields much more high-resolution data. So you get a lot more information about a population's history from many fewer individuals. But it's expensive still, pretty expensive, and it's computationally intensive. So as with the Y chromosome, autosomal markers are much less likely to be preserved in ancient remains than mitochondrial genomes. And anthropological genetics is a pretty small field, which is why you haven't heard of it, especially relative to, say, archaeology. But our research sometimes receives an outsized amount of attention from the media and online. And this level of interest is awesome, but it does leave considerable space for people who promote quack ideas about genetics. And because of my interest in pseudoscience and science literacy, I am in daily contact with myths and conspiracy stories involving.
Walaikum salam, peace barakatuh. How you feeling today?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, man. My brother, my Muslim brother, man. This is your first time hitting the panel over here, man. That's you. Hey, I'm cheesing like you right now, just because I see you over here. That's dope. You just put a smile on my face, Jesse. How you doing today?
Alhamdulillah, man. I seen that link, man. I had to go ahead and hop on.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate you stopping through, show us some love, show us some support, man. We're going over this video, the misuse of genetics and pseudoscience. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what she's talking about. I just saw the title and I said, you know what? I want to see what she's talking about. Might as well hop on here and watch it with y'all. We can break some of this down, tear it apart if we don't agree. Maybe there's something new for us all to learn from it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And again, but we could shift the topic to anything. I wanted it to be a Spar session. What you doing today? I see you in full attire though.
Oh man, I ended up going to the masjid, hit my Juma prayer, sold some juices, hung with some of the Athiest.
That's what's up. What you do for the holidays? Do you even celebrate?
Kinda.
Okay.
So,
How does
holidays like Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, they're known to be like pagan holidays. But during this time, spending time with family is like everything, especially when work stops and stuff like that due to holiday breaks and things like that. So I definitely went to a couple of Thanksgiving feasts or Alhamdulillah feasts.
We all got a fast coming up next.
Oh man, I gotta check on Ramadan. I know that's coming up soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say because one thing about y'all make sure y'all incorporate that into y'all. I say y'all active spirituality. You may have a different phrase for it, but y'all actively do that on a regular basis, and it's part of y'all regimen. And I like that
exactly
because it's a lot of texts talk about it, but I only see you guys implementing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly,
And
exactly.
especially health is wealth right now. You know what I'm saying? My mom always used to say, you only get one body. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you take care of it.
Yeah, fasting
How
has
did
been prescribed to the previous beliefs, and the same has been prescribed to us. But it's just like you said, I think that's the thing about Islam, the Islamic religion, that one of the things that kind of drawn me to it. I came from Christianity, and yeah, man, uh, coming to a religion where they actually practice what they preach, and a lot of the things that is preached in Islam is actually like preached in the Bible. So
say that shit? You said they actually practice what they preach. Go ahead.
yeah,
I feel you.
exactly.
I feel you. That's why I got a lot. I got a lot of respect for the Muslim brothers. I'm cool with a lot of them. It's a lot of them in my community. Come to find out, I guess I didn't see him when I was a Christian, but
Oh
now that
man,
I'm more open to different stuff, I'm seeing them everywhere.
oh man,
Uh,
and the Islamic religion is growing. Uh, it's the fastest growing religion in the world right now. So
facts.
yeah, like I totally agree with you. Matter of fact, I didn't see much Muslims coming up. Matter of fact, I didn't see much Muslims last year,
Mm,
and this year I must have seen uh, double, maybe triple the numbers that uh, was of the past. I'm definitely starting to see more sisters rocking hijabs around my area.
mm. That's dope, man. That's dope. Definitely the number one growing religion right now. I had a source that showed that in one of my recent debates. I think it was like 4 months ago. I don't even remember the title, but yeah, I was showing that Islam was the fastest growing religion, and that something we should be on there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Hercules, King Herc in the building. We have a presentation coming up from him really soon, so make sure you be on the lookout for that. How you feeling today, brother?
Hey, what's going on, fam?
Yeah, man, I heard you was a mathematician today when I had told somebody I was doing something with you.
What?
Somebody told me you was a mathematician today.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then I see the name, you got mathematically handsome up there. I'm like, so maybe you got the math there too. What do they talk about? Explain what you do with the numbers.
No, I got my degree in mathematics.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that makes
So
sense.
yeah, so
So
it's
they weren't lying. They were actually spot on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear it is. So I'm excited to see what you bring at this presentation. Me and brother Jesse was building on Islam, how it's the number one growing religion right now. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, what do you feel about that? What's your ideology?
I'm more of a traditionalist. With traditional African spirituality is
Okay.
what I'm into.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's definitely a lot of Islam in Africa right now.
yeah, definitely. It's big. That's definitely big. That was when I went there. I think that was actually my first time being exposed to um, I guess uh, Islamic religion and Islamic people. You know what I'm saying? I see the Muslims. You know what I'm saying here, the 5%. You know what I'm saying, the FOI. You know what I'm saying
Hmm.
here in America, but you know what I'm saying they was the ones that I knew. They was just just like me. You know what I'm saying, just like regular brother black man and shit. But when I went over to Ghana, it's like I would meet brothers who was actually Muslim and who was like heavy in tradition, and I would hear they did that little Muslim call. You know what I'm saying, throughout the
What they
day.
call a
That was
prayer.
like the first time I ever heard that shit. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? I was like, what is going on? And I think I was over there. Yeah, I was over there during Ramadan, and they was that joint was going on like it'll go off like at 3 a.m., 2 a.m. And I was like, what the hell? But yeah, that was the first time I got exposed, and I met what I'm saying, brothers to the in the Islamic faith.
Yeah, they don't miss a beat, man. They make sure they hit all their prayers. They washing their hands and all the way up to the elbows. That's correct, Jesse. That's how they
Yep,
do it.
yep.
Go ahead,
Wash our
break down how the
hands.
prayers go. How
Uh,
can you
we,
start from the which one would you call the first one?
Fajr, the Fajr prayer. you know, we do 5 prayers a day, and um,
That's a
we
lot of
basically
praying.
yeah, man. It's actually been prescribed to the previous believers as well. Matter of fact, I think in the Bible that they're supposed to even pray even more. At least I think at least 7 times, and according to the Bible. But we've been told to pray like 5 times. Prior to our prayer, we do something called wudu, ablution, or sacred cleaning, and that sacred cleaning consists of washing your hands up to your elbows, washing your face, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your feet, the top of your head, and you know, you can usually keep the same wudu until you like break it. And the things that would cause you to break it is like using the restroom, um, uh, probably just doing things that are kind of like worldly that would get you out of being clean. Something else is, man, that's very major is in Islam, man. You know, practically every masjid we have something called I would say like um, what is that word? Uh, a bidet.
Hmm. The toilet?
So in our faith, yeah, like
Oh, you can't use a
yeah, we have
bidet?
like bidets. No, we
Hmm.
can like
Oh, okay.
just about every masjid has like a bidet or
Oh,
like
okay.
a hose that you basically clean your private parts with after you use the restroom.
Yeah, that's all over Asia. When I was
Yeah.
all over South Asia, they use those too. You know.
Okay. I got a question for you two gentlemen. I'm gonna pose a question since I got King Hurt the
Yeah,
mathematician
man.
and the number one. Oh, my bad. I cut you
I
off
think
because you
that I
didn't get
really
through all
think we're ahead
five.
of the game on that. You know what I'm saying? I was just saying, man. You know, as far as like cleanliness goes, I think Islam kind of brought us to a level that's kind of like ahead of the game. And you know, this is a man back in the year 600 who you know promoted these practices, and we're doing things that is more sanitary, that is still not even caught on to the entire world. So you know, it's one thing to wipe your self with the toilet paper, but it's the next level is like, you know, after using the restroom, rinsing yourself off
Hmm.
with water.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. They don't get no better than that, 5 times a
Yeah,
day.
man.
You feel me?
Exactly. And like I said, man, they have that in pretty much any masjid, but also in a lot of the believers' homes.
Yeah, that's dope. We in America, so it's not too many bidets around. I don't even know what that's
No,
like.
you're gonna see that more in the Islamic community.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for a bidet. That sounds pretty fancy. uh,
Man,
I could,
the
the
type of
holes
bidet.
maybe I could get jiggy with.
Yeah, I was gonna say the majority of places have that are in the Islamic community are like a hose. So there's like a
Yeah, I
hose
could do that.
connected to the toilet, and you can just like you know, spray yourself with it.
Okay. Yeah, I ain't seen one of them yet, man. I might have to hit the mosque up. I actually
Oh
am
man,
because it's a local
inshallah.
mosque, and I said I was gonna pull up uh, and just go through the regular services with them and just see what's popping over there, and then end up bringing some people in real time over here to see what we got going on too. Uh,
Yeah, you know, for years I put a lot of time in understanding the information,
mhm.
understanding the practice of Islam. But now I'm like, you know, these days after I moved to the city, I'm definitely getting like closer to the practices of
Mm.
Islam. So to praying with others and things like that, it's beautiful, man. Get with
Yeah, you cutting in and out. I want to pose this question to you too. Is the African identity best preserved through Islam or
Hey, how you
African
doing?
traditional religions?
Hmm. Um, I mean, I think that would be the same thing if you has said, is the African identity best preserved through Buddhism or Taoism?
I
So the
already
identity,
knew what you was gonna say. Go ahead.
yeah,
At least along the first part. Go
the
ahead.
identity itself, is going to be preserved in its own traditional culture. Best in its traditional culture. And we got plenty of there are a lot of stories when Islam came through and controlled Africa. Certain things was outlawed. Certain practices were not allowed. So we know that traditionally the identity itself would be preserved best through the original culture of its own culture. You know what I'm saying?
That seems like the strongest way to do it, because it would be untampered with. You know,
hmm Even though Islam does they do a lot of African traditional practices, like he was saying, the washing of the hands and the face and head and all that stuff. They do that in traditional practices as well. You
mhm.
see them, washing like that before a ceremony starts and stuff like that. So Islam does have preserved some of the traditional practices.
Any other practices you could think of
As far as what?
that Islam? I guess Jesse would probably be maybe more qualified to answer that question.
Oh man,
Uh,
I fell off, but just to answer the question that you originally asked before I fell off, I think I think that the African culture is going to be preserved better through Islam. Of course, it's going to be a bias comment, but Islam being the fastest growing religion, it's actually um, probably bigger in Africa than a lot bigger in Africa than it is in the Americas and in Africa. The brothers have definitely taken Islam on, and it's Islam was pretty much started, I would say, like just a little north of Africa, and it's I think the identity is definitely preserved of Islam in Africa a lot better. But I think it's very much a part of the culture.
Yeah, it's a part. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. The only pushback I would have is that it's become a part of the culture. The question is said is the African identity. Not just the culture, but the identity of the person of that tradition. That society, the identity is it best preserved through Islamic religions or through African traditional African and I would say, I'm pretty sure as you know as well that certain things that Islam have like outlawed or did forbid, that was traditional cultural practices. You know what I'm saying that forbid them from doing like you can't do that. We shun that. But that you know what I'm saying that's a part of that like you letting go of your traditional culture, your practice, as you accept Islam as well. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
So that's
I
that's
think
why I said that's why I said that. I mean, yeah, I've seen a lot of like brothers and sisters, Islamic brothers and sisters. They got the culture way better than the Christians. Yeah, they preserved a lot of the culture way better than the Christians. But I see that at the same time, some of the practices, you got it's shunned. Islam's like, yeah, we don't do that. That's not allowed and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was saying.
yeah, yeah, and I can totally agree with that. I think that so Islam we believe that Islam basically means submission to the will of God. So this concept, even though the Prophet Muhammad is known for kind of getting us back to this concept of worshiping one God and doing a lot of these practices. These practices that are done in Islam is really a lot of it is nothing new. So a lot of the stuff that we do in Islam, the previous believers like the Christians and the Jews, did or were supposed to be doing. And you know, I believe that the first human beings are going to be like Adam and Eve. Uh, I think the worship of multiple gods is somewhat of a deviation. So I think they at some point there were some great figures that came and walked the earth that people seen as so great that they started to make monuments and statues and started to declare worship to. But Islam is like the return, just the return back to the monotheism that was there prior. So I think it's like somewhere along the way, we have like the African religion that has gotten there. The great pharaohs and things of that nature. They talk about Amun Ra and these great figures, but ultimately I think these great figures were like human beings that were not necessarily supposed to be worshipped, but they were still like great figures. Uh, they came with a lot of things to teach and things of that nature. Hey, some of the characters that are in these African religions could be considered characters from the biblical aspect. I heard there's like a figure who was known for you know uh, saving the world. We're not saving the world, but the world was covered with water at one point, and he got on a laden ship and saved, basically like saved humanity, and it may be known as a different figure in the African religion as far as like a name, but we know him as like Noah or Nua. So it's just like a lot of the same stories, but the Quran is going to be just like a return to what these stories were supposed to be. It also helps us perceive these great figures in the true light of how we're supposed to perceive them.
Okay, yeah, I can I understand I understand where you're coming from, and definitely I appreciate where you're coming from, because the first thing you said was that you said that Muhammad is coming to get us back, return to the truth, something like that. It was something
Right.
way, and because sometimes when I ex brothers who are Christians and Muslims, I'm like, yo man, why the hell y'all follow? But when there's only been, I'll tell you, you're the second person. I think you're the second. Yeah, you're only the second brother that's ever said it that way. And when you say it that way, I can understand why. You know what I'm saying? Because other brothers, they give all these other excuses, but when you said, nah, man, because Muhammad is like he came to show us how to get back to the way, what I'm saying, you want to go, you follow it because you like his lessons of getting back to the truth. You know what I'm saying? So you're the only person, what I'm saying, that said it was a Christian brother who said it that way, and I understood, you know what I'm saying, and you said it that way, and I would say, okay, I can understand that, I can respect that, you know what I'm saying? Because most people they don't comprehend what you like the way you said it. They wouldn't be able to pick up on it the way you said it. Like a lot of stuff was already in existence, and it was lost.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they'll say people just lost that shit. And when Muhammad came, you know what I'm saying, when Jesus came, they came to get us back on track. Like, nah, y'all off track, champ. Now let's go back to the way it is. But yeah, I definitely I feel you on that. I'm feeling you on that though.
Yeah, and so with the Prophet Muhammad, like we Muslims and Islam believe that it, like the information that he came with did not come from himself. So we believe that the angel Jibril or the angel Gabriel is the one who informed him on how to do all these things. But you know, like we don't believe that it was like a human figure that you know, tweaked the religion or taught. Like, don't get me wrong. Of course, we were taught by the Prophet Muhammad. He's the one who directly given us the information. But for him, he received the information from something greater. So, you know, of course, in Islam, we don't believe that God is going to walk the earth. We don't believe like we believe that God will send messengers like the angel Jibril or the angel Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
But you know that's the miracle of it, and a lot of the proof is in like the text. So the Quran and the Hadith, there's like a lot of scientific things or things that we're starting to like discover today that just didn't make sense in the time of the Prophet Muhammad's for him to know. So like, yeah, we believe that information was given to him by something greater. And then it becomes like, you know, when you receive like so much information that is just like, how do you say, that is like things that are getting proved now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
yeah.
Just an example is like, you know, there's a hadith about a fly, and the fly, it's said in the hadith that the fly has a disease on one wing and the cure on the other. Now to someone probably in the past, that, you know, that wouldn't really make sense, or like, you know what I'm saying, like there's no way to prove that. But in today's time, you know, modern science is proving something like that to be correct, and this is like I want to say germology or some of that nature, where it talks about germs, that science of germs.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. You definitely on point with that one. I agree with that, because modern science is one of the things that I'm gonna show in my presentation. That I'm gonna do. Modern science is just now catching up to, you know, the ancient science.
Right.
It's, you know what I'm saying, they just now catching up to it, and not just, you know, technologically wise, you know, it's a different way they're arriving at it, but you know, knowledge wise, they just now, you know what I'm saying, Western science is just now catching up to what the ancients knew and stuff like that on that level.
Right.
And
it would have sounded like craziness otherwise, but now we have like modern science to back it up. It's like, oh well, maybe this brother was onto something.
yeah. It's like, damn. It's like, oh, damn. And if and that's the thing, that my thing, because I'm in, you know, I'm just getting into what's called black. I'm just getting into black science, understanding ancient, you know, African science. And so my thing is that I try to show, if they was doing this, if they had the same type of knowledge back then that we're having today, but their approach was a different approach, where they didn't have to destroy the planet. Whereas today is like, you know, you do science, you know, whatever it is, you know, no matter the result, you know, as long as you make it a profit, it's a good result. You know what I'm saying? No matter how many plants you kill, no matter how many animals you kill, the land you destroy, it's fine, because we're making progress. That's the Western approach. And what I'm saying is that, you know, our ancestors did not have that approach, and they achieved the same level of knowledge. They achieved the same level of knowledge, and showed us almost the same experiments. You know, particle in the box. 4,000 years ago, it's like, yo, they did the same shit, but yet it wasn't destructive to the planet. So we could do the same stuff, but we don't have to be destructive to the planet. You know what I'm saying? But you know, but we're so caught up in the Western way of living, in the Western way of thinking, that it's hard for us to visualize, you know, a world where we don't have to, you know, you ain't got to be destructive, you ain't got to dominate, you know, nature. You can live with nature, be one with nature and stuff like that. It's hard to visualize that if all you grow up and all you see is, how to dominate and how to control nature, instead of trying to be one with nature.
Mm. That makes me think like,
Right.
okay, this is still on topic, but you just had me thinking like divine revelation. Okay, because I know in Islam it's supposed to come through Muhammad.
Correct.
Um, but in African spirituality, they do they supposedly do the same things. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Which he just, when he said in tune with nature, it just got me thinking. I don't know. I just thought of this music video and I was like, that's the same thing she was trying to do, was manifest. And they go out in nature and do it. How can I, does divine revelation end with Islam, or can it be done in other cultures as well? What do you think, Jesse?
I believe that
Why do you have that
for
picture? What is in your hand?
yeah, hey, and I was thinking, man, when you update the picture
You got the
that you have for
caution.
me, man, you might have to, I might have to send you this picture of me.
Yeah,
So,
send
so,
me
so,
that one and I'll get you. Oh, I'll get you, yeah, for your interview flyer.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got to get you an
uh,
interview too. Go ahead, Jesse. You can respond. You just scared me
but
when I
yeah,
looked up.
oh man, yeah, no, that's nothing, man. I'm not. I promise you, I'm not a terrorist. But
Okay.
Allah is gracious warrior. That's what. Let me change. I'm gonna change my name too. But
Okay, I like that.
but yeah. So of course, in Islam, we believe that the Prophet Muhammad is going to be like the final prophet, and the information that he has given. It's not to say that the previous information is all wrong. It's to say that there's truth in the previous information. Very very much so. The divine revelation has definitely come prior to the Prophet Muhammad, but the Quran is supposed to be like the book that confirms the previous stories, the previous books, and then it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be preserved. So it's preserved in a way that it should last us until the end of time. But it also like gives us further information on things that have been talked about previously, like Jesus. So of course in Islam, we still believe in the Messiah Jesus, and the stories that we have for Jesus, I would say could be even considered, even more miraculous. You know, just very beautiful. Just an example is, so in Islam, we don't believe that Jesus was crucified. Rather, he was saved from crucifixion, and God raised him up to Himself. This is what the Quran is going to say directly. When you get into the hadiths are going to talk about how Jesus is going to return. So like we believe that Jesus is going to return, and he's going to come down on like two angel wings. So like some angels are going to bring him down. It's believed that he's going to land in Tel Aviv, in Israel, and it's starting to make sense now. You know what I'm saying, as far as why he would need to land in that area. But yeah, the Quran is going to be like the final revelation until Jesus comes. But even Jesus, we don't think is going to come with like a new book. When Jesus comes, it's going to be like uh, the end times, and there's going to be like a holy war that's going to take place, and like we believe that he's gonna be on the side of us Muslims, and he's actually going to probably like deny the Christians, being that the Christians worship him, because Jesus is not going to want to be worshipped. He's going to want to direct their worship to the Creator. So I mean, like even in African spirituality, I think that there's going to be some divine revelation that was sent in that, but this is just like the final book from the same guy, just to get us all back on track, to make sure that we have like a good comprehension, or just a better comprehension of what God is, what God, some of God's plans that's going to take place, things of that nature.
Mm. So for the for I would say for African for traditional systems, there is no revelation. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the revelation is that everything is one. Once you come to the realization that everything is connected in the universe, that we are a part of the universe, we are the part of that one. That's the revelation. There is no direct revelation of something, to be revealed, to you or something like that, because it's based. I mean, African spirituality is based on the ecology that you're living in, your environment. You know what I'm saying? So it's based on the actual science of what's going on around you, and the the I guess like my only pushback is that, like you said earlier, you said how saying you follow Muhammad because he's bringing the lessons of how to get back to that original lessons. And my only pushback to that is that like, damn shit, we didn't need Muhammad. He didn't come here for us black people, because we was already here for hundreds of thousands of years. And what I think I'll probably add this to my presentation, A1. I might add this joint, because I'm gonna show you how like being not being I would say how praying to Jesus and Muhammad is basically strengthening white supremacy. But that's gonna take a little a little
I
detail
gotta
to
see
get
you
into.
work that in there.
But but the thing is that we already been here. You know what I'm saying? We've been doing shit correctly. We've been, doing the prayers correctly. Because like he said, what I'm saying, like he said, you follow Muhammad because he's going to teach you how to get back to the right way of doing it. But I'm like, shit, we already been doing it. You know what I'm saying? Why not just do the original? But I understand, like, some people, like, that's why they're Muslims. That's because they like the message. And for, like I said, I only met one Christian who told me, he liked the message from Jesus, that he's teaching you how to get back the original way. I've never heard no other Christian ever said that, but that was the only brother I ever met that said that. But yeah, I understand that. But yeah, for the traditionalists, like, the revelation is like there is no revelation. Revelation basically is that everything is one. Saying the ecology, everything. You recognize that everything is universe is one, because we are one with the universe. And the spirituality is basically recognizing that we come from that spiritual realm, and we're here, in this realm, and we're living for a brief moment, and then we got to go back to that spiritual world. What I'm saying? And we got to account for the things that we've done, in this physical realm. I guess that's why the ancients, they made that the Maya, the scales and stuff like that. So it's all it's yeah, it's all that traditional spiritual connecting and understanding that there is a relationship with us and those that exist in that spiritual world.
So I think Islam is going to be a pushback from white supremacy and things of that nature. I think you might, they may have altered the Bible in a way where white supremacy may be possible, but in Islam, it's going to be a more of a pushback. There's a Quran verse that says, we did not make you in we basically made you from a single ancestral parents, and made you into tribes so that you may get to know one another, not to despise one another. The best of you is the most righteous of you. So with that being said, like the best human being is going to be the most righteous human being. It's not going to be based off of color. And then something else is, you know, white people don't want you to be Muslim. White people like a white supremacist. A white supremacist is not going to want you to be in Islam because of some of the things, because of that pushback, and then you know, they might use like Judaism to Judaism and Christianity in that way, but Islam is going to be like a direct it's going to be like a direct comeback for all that. So like
right,
yeah,
right,
like
right.
it's going to be to it kind of like levels the playing field. It gets you in a way where you put your desires behind, like, you know, behind yourself, and you start becoming more what is the word, I don't want to say dedicated, but you become more I would say like you become more focused in the practices that would make you better, things that would better yourself. And you know, this is for anybody who takes heed to it. So like, you know, if you don't want to follow it, you know, you don't have to follow it. There's no compulsion in the religion, but at the same time, if you do decide to follow it, it's only going to make you better. Like there's concepts of waking up early in the morning to pray. You know, this could benefit a regular person's life, because if you're waking up early in the morning to pray, and then you going out and doing the things that you need to do, like seeking the bounty of your Lord, you know, this can make you more profitable. It can make you more in tune with your reality, rather than, like, you know, sleeping in, letting the days pass by you. It kind of like focuses your mind to be to better yourself. And then I also wanted to say that I think even in traditional in traditional African religions, I think there has to be something that was sent down, or some, you know, the information that has been given to those who preach African traditional religions. I believe those are also going to be a revelation, or you know, some of it has to be a revelation from God, because these concepts are like you said, human beings, and the universe is one. You know, in Islam, we believe that God is one, and of course, like we're His creations, but this concept is still like before its time, and I don't think that no man would in that time frame would be able to grasp that concept or get that concept if it wasn't given, you know, from God Himself.
You know, okay, damn. You know what? I probably need to look up fucking Revelations, because you know I'm not a Christian. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a Muslim, and I never thought about, you know, I don't know what like the definition of Revelations, but since you said it that way, and now that you said it that way, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. You know, you're right. You know, you have those people who were connected, you know, with that spiritual world, and they had, you know, the understanding, those visions, the knowledge that came to them, and many times this is achieved through like deep meditation. You know, you go through in deep meditation, and you get connected to that spirituality, and yeah, that knowledge from, you know, from the Creator comes to you, and yeah, information is revealed. Yes, so now that you said it that way, I understand. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely. because so in Islam, we believe that God has been sending messages and to messengers over a course of time. So the prophet, like I said, the prophet Muhammad is not the first one to receive a message. We just believe him to be like the last messenger. But of course, God has been revealing things over a course of time to the prophets. Every prophet came with a revelation. I think the biggest takeaway that each prophet was to receive is basically that you know our God is one God, and only that God is worthy of worship. And then just somewhere along the lines, there tends to be a deviation, but with each prophet, is going to be like a comeback to how we're supposed to worship.
Right.
And I also wanted to add that the Prophet Muhammad, he didn't just come for like the Arabs. He came for the entirety of the world. So previous prophets, uh, according to the Bible, they came for the lost sheep, or specifically like the children of Israel. Even Jesus, he came directly for the children of the lost sheep, or the children of Israel. When a woman walked up to him and asked him for like a blessing, um, he said something along the lines of that you, you know that that meal was specifically for the children of Israel. And then she turned around and asked something like, well, can and he called her like a Canaanite dog. But then she turned around and said something along the lines of about the scraps. Can or even can a Canaanite dog or something like that get the scraps of what was given. And he did grant her that. But the Prophet Muhammad, he came for the entirety of the world. So he didn't just come for the Jews, the Christians. He came for everybody. He's supposed to be the messenger. According to the Bible, there's supposed to be a messenger that's going to come to the Gentiles, and the Prophet Muhammad is to be that messenger. So he came for like the entirety of the world, and the best people who receive it is not necessarily going to be like he may have came directly to the Arabs and the Arab nation, but the best people who are going to receive it are those who take on his message. But it does say directly in the Quran that the Prophet Muhammad came for the entirety of the world.
So I understand that. I mean, they say that the same thing about Jesus. You know what I'm saying? He came for the world. I guess my pushback was like I would think. I think that the thing I would like to I'm gonna try to show. If you know what I'm saying, I get the chance to do this presentation. I'm gonna try to show is that actually it we can see, we can look, and you can see that actually Muhammad and Jesus both, I would say both don't benefit Black people. And this is like I said, like I'm saying, this is like a deep conversation with spirituality, because once you get into understanding of the relationship of the physical world and spiritual world, you understand how it is a reciprocal relationship. It's never just one way. And I could show you, I could prove that it has never been beneficial, for the Black man, for that Abibi mind, that I do the walk people, it's never been beneficial for us. It doesn't, and I don't, I tell people, I'm saying, I don't really argue. I don't argue people, say over their beliefs. You want to be Muslim, you want to be Christian, Jewish, whatever. All right, fine, it's whatever. I raised my kids that way. I'm a traditionalist. Their mom, is Christian. You know what I'm saying? you know, in America, you know, we got limit options. You know what I'm saying? You know, I want, I'll be looking for the sisters. You know, that's weight, but you know, sometimes you know, I meet, you know, you meet who you meet, but you know. So I raised my kids that way. You know, I give them the information, say, yo, you can believe if you want to believe, you want to be a Christian, you can be a Christian like your mom. You know what I'm saying? But I said, this is what Christianity is. You know what I'm saying? I said, this is what traditional, you know what I'm saying, religious spirituality is. You know what I'm saying? I showed them, and I tell them the history, and I was like, yo, this is and that. So you choose. And I think that'll be beneficial for us as a people, Black people moving forward in the future. You know, we gotta let our kids, you know what I'm saying, it's our belief and we love it. But we can't force, you know what I'm saying? Don't just force it on them as in one way, you know, give them options like, you know, this is the other way as well. But most of our people don't study the history, so they don't know. They don't know at all. So like I said, but for me, you know, I introduced it, you know, the concepts of African spirituality and what it is to my children and showed them, you know what I'm saying, the difference in what traditional spirituality is and what a religion is. You know what I'm saying? So sorry. Back to what I was saying, that with Black people, as I see it, as you said, you know, the Muhammad came, you know, not just, you know, to teach the correct way, you know, for everybody, but as I see it, bro, it's like, yo, we've been here, like nigga, we've been here for years, champ, and when you ask, and the funny thing is, like, you tell a Christian, like, yo, Jesus is just, you know what I'm saying, he's a copy of, you know, a Spar and a Set. They said no, he's not. That's not who Jesus was. He's not a copy or a Spar, Set, horse. That has nothing to do with Christianity. It has nothing to do with Jesus. All right, fine. We accept that. All right, let's accept that. That ain't got shit to do with Jesus. Fine. So if Jesus was not a copy story from ancient Kemet, that means that, you know, he was a prophet on his own. And so when you said that, you know, the Bible speaks of other prophets, then we have to show other prophets that are not connected to ancient Kemet because they are denying Jesus. So we have to show the other prophets because we know that African people, Black people, been on this planet for over 200,000 years. So we're going to have to be able to show that there is no connection. Because, you know what I'm saying, because those people, when we talk about African spirituality, we could look back 50,000 years and we could see African spirituality in place. But we can't do that when you're looking at the Hebrews, when you're looking at, you know what I'm saying, these Arabs, you're looking at these Canaanites, all that. Their civilization don't go that far back. And we know why. So my thing is, is that the spirituality of Black people has been in place for over like 50,000 years. And they had an understanding of the spiritual realm, the spiritual world. And they had they came to a conclusion because at some point, I think it'll be stupid of us. I don't mean to try to disrespect y'all intellect. I ain't trying to be funny, but I think it'd be stupid of people today to say that, you know, 50,000 years ago, people never sat around and said, nigga, is this shit real? You know what I'm saying? They ain't sitting in the room like,
you funny, Herc.
I mean, like, nigga, are you real about, you know, their grandma telling us?
They had to, because I'll do it now. Like, what? Come on.
For real. It's like, yo, my mom, oh my God, my mom would tell you, I don't know how old I was, probably 6 or 7. And when she told me the story of Jesus feeding people like with like 7 pieces of bread or some shit, you know, feeding all those people, I said, Mom, you lying. You know, and she looked at me, was like, no, I'm not. This is actual. I said, ain't no way. You know what I'm saying? So come on, we know humans, we ask those questions. So at some point in our history, our ancestors did ask those questions. They sparred with those questions, and they came to a conclusion like, you know what? Goddamn, this shit is real. Okay. How do we represent? How do we show this? Can we figure this out? You know what I'm saying? It was like, yo, can we figure this out? And that's one, and that's like I said, yo, that's one thing I'm gonna show you guys. A presentation on African spirituality. I'm gonna show you that they figured it out and they showed us physically and scientifically that hey, this shit is actually real. So yeah, so for me, what I'm saying is that all I'm saying is that like yo, like damn, we've been on it, like we've been on the line of the track of being in line with the one, with the creator. You know what I'm saying? And then with Muhammad and Jesus, they came along. That's like yo, no, no. Yo, we gotta get these people online and track with the creator. And I'm saying they wasn't talking to us. They was talking to those pale skinned motherfuckers out there. I'm like, they wasn't talking to us. But we got caught up in it, and a lot of people got caught up in it, over the years, the wars, the destruction of the civilizations, the wiping, the erasing of the history. People just don't remember. But I just, what I'm saying, I just think that, yeah, we already been on it. What I'm saying? We already been tuned with the universe and the creator that, what I'm saying, us black people, we didn't have to get corrected, but like you said, a lot of us lost. We've been miseducated. So yeah, we got to be corrected. You know what I'm saying?
So the Quran is supposed to be like the final revelation. It's not to say that other revelations haven't came prior and are not.
What you think about the Mormons?
I don't think that the Mormons revelation is I don't think the Mormons revelation holds the same weight. I don't think that the Mormons revelation is a true revelation. And I do think that some of the concepts of Mormonism you will be able to find within the Quran, but I don't think that Joseph Smith was a prophet in the same way that the Prophet Muhammad was. So
did you read their Bible?
I've read a little bit of it. I've had conversations with Mormons, but the Mormon scripture came years after the Prophet Muhammad, and I think the Quran has shown to be a superior scripture, even though it came like a thousand years prior, and then also the Prophet Muhammad, he was a well documented person. So like the hadiths and things of that nature, they have the autobiography of the Prophet Muhammad, and like just some of the sayings that he was saying. I was telling you like about the hadith of the fly, things like that kind of prove him to be like a legit prophet, whereas you don't really have that same thing with Joseph Smith. Like they don't have. So let me say this. So God sent messengers over a course of time, and it's not to say it's not like I was saying. It's not to say that the previous messengers are null and void or anything like that. But it's to say that God has perfected His word within the Quran. So I think it's very useful to study previous scriptures, previous religions, but I'd also incorporate the understanding of the Quran into viewing these previous religions and previous stories, and see how they correlate and where they differ, and where they correlate is going to be a confirmation, and where they differ, the Quran is going to be like the Quran declares to be the supreme authority over all scriptures. Also, it declares to be it declares that Islam is going to be the religion that is to conquer or to be put over all the other religions. So it's the final revelation from the same God. I think that it's very useful within the Black community because you know it's going to be useful to every community, being that if you are getting a direct revelation from God, anybody who takes heed to it is going to benefit. So like once again we believe that you know all the messengers came, and you know when if you were living in the times of those messengers, you were supposed to follow them. So like during the time of Moses,
Mhm.
you're supposed to be a follower of Moses.
Mm.
During the time of Noah, you're supposed to be a follower of Noah. During the time of Jesus, uh, like you're supposed to be a follower of Jesus. The Prophet Muhammad is just the final messenger, and is meant for the entire world to take heed to. So, like I don't necessarily believe that there's a different way. Or, I don't get me wrong. There is a different way to get to the same outcome, but like how do you say? You're just supposed to follow the message when God sends His message,
Mm.
and you're not really supposed to say, well, I already have this book, so I don't there's no need for me to take heed to the new message that God has sent. You just take God's message, and you kind of add it on to whatever understanding of the previous scriptures that you have.
Yeah.
So like I don't think, don't get me wrong, like I think Christianity was the proper way for a period of time. You know what I'm saying? Like when there was only the Bible, or when the Bible was the last revelation, and the Quran wasn't here yet, if that's all that God has given us, uh we're to follow that. But since God has given us this new revelation, this new book, it's like in our responsibility to take heed to it, and kind of build our life on that. So I think it's like it's not necessarily like you can go this way or you can go that way. We're supposed to be going in a direction to the future. So like with time, God sends His messengers over a course of time. Being that this Quran is the final message. It's good that you had the previous messages and things of that nature, but it's just like our responsibility to take heed to the final message.
Yeah, that's but I think I think it's the funny thing, though. But right, let me say that a couple years ago, not a couple of years ago, I dated a sister who was a Mormon, and at the time I never heard of them. I think I maybe heard of them, but I think I heard of them, but I just never like really cared. But she told me she was a Mormon. I was like, a Mormon, and she handed me the Mormon Bible, and she told me, check it out. I was reading it. Man, I died. I was laughing so hard for reading that book. Shorty kicked me out. She's like,
what what you see in there?
huh?
What you see in there?
Well, before I knew that, you know what I'm saying? She was beautiful. She's a beautiful sister. Actually, she just got married last year. She's a beautiful sister. She was bad, and she went to Howard. She was just an average, average sister. You know what I'm saying? She didn't, she wasn't like conscious on that level. But you know what I'm saying? She was at Howard. She understand. She's just an average black person. She understand the, the interests of black people. But yeah, man, yeah, she kicked me out, yo. I had to roll it out middle of the night, yo. I had to find my way home. She was a Mormon. But yeah, I read that book. and I was like, yeah, I can't believe you actually believe this. Are you serious? It's like, but what the brother Jesse was saying, the thing that I think that I would find interesting, in what you were saying, even though, you guys say that, Muhammad's the final, is the last prophet. It's interesting because it's like, wait a minute, there was prophets before him. In the time span that we're looking at, there's like an average of about 600 years, 1,000 years between prophets. It's like, shouldn't there be another prophet? I mean, just to say he's the last one, I mean, come on, But I mean, that's just something that's a thing that I was like, wait a minute, from the time span. But I mean, that's your perspective. That's your perspective on Islam and Muhammad, and has been the final word. You know what I'm saying? I don't negate. I'm not negating that. I just feel that black people. I just feel that as a black person, black people. We've been on this planet, way before that, and we was living the righteous way. We was living that way in accordance with the universe, with the Creator. It's only you have to notice that it's only when those pale-skinned motherfuckers showed up on the planet that prophets began to show up on the planet. And they had to, get back to the righteous way. And I think a good example of like the proof of that is when you read the what's it called, the 42 Confessions of Mayat, the Negative Confessions of Mayat. As you look at it, you actually, I don't know if people don't realize this. It's not just one. It changed over time. And if you look at it before the Hebrews or the Israelites, whoever they want to call them, these Hyksos people, and came in, when you read it, and then when you read it after they left, when they after when they kicked them out of Kemet, that's when they added, hey, you can't be having sex, same sex, and you can't be having sex with children. You know what I'm saying? Before that wasn't even in there. The 42 the Confessions of Mayat. But after the Hebrews left, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't trying to get on. I'm trying to make this like no homosexual stuff, but
bounties.
Debate the
What
people.
is this?
The debate with people be like, homosexuality is just a thing. It's always been around. And I tell people, obviously, you never traveled the world, because I've been around the planet, and the things that we do here in America, people don't do overseas. You know what I'm saying? If we try to act like it's just something natural. But one of the things that I like, actually, the brother Wesley Muhammad pointed out. He's like, hey, if homosexuality was such a natural thing, then how come it was banned out of the 42, Confession of Mayat? It's not something that was acceptable in Kemet, but we see it's acceptable in European culture. If you look at, it was acceptable in Greece and Rome and shit. That was just something that was acceptable, but in Africa, it wasn't acceptable. But, I'm not trying to, it's not trying to, be, bash on homosexuals or nothing at all. What I'm just trying to say is that, we see this we've been in contact and had this connection to the universe for so long that I feel like it only became broken when the other people evolved on this planet. Then they came out of that that ice age, whatever that they call it, and they started spreading their concepts around the world, what I'm saying, and messing with people, what I'm saying. But we've been had that connection to the divine source, to the Creator. That's my point of view.
Yeah, the concept of homosexuality. It said that in the Quran that the first time homosexuality was done was during the time of Lot, and confirmation of the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. But that was like the first time that homosexuality has became something. It was something that was prevalent, and ultimately God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because of the wickedness uh, behind it. So there's we live in a time now where homosexuality is becoming um, a norm, or even transgenders have become a norm,
Yeah,
because people are not really like speaking up against it. We've become pacifists, or we just say, hey, people can do whatever they want, but ultimately, like, God would destroy a nation if it becomes too prevalent. A crazy thing about homosexuality is now homosexuality wasn't a thing during the time of Noah, but one of the signs, according to the Bible, that God would never flood the earth, because so God, of course, God flooded the earth because of the wickedness of the people, and one of the signs that He left was the rainbow, that God would never flood the earth again. And I think it's ironic that the homosexual community have taken on the rainbow as their sign, or what I'm saying, or use that as their flag that they wave around.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, Islam uh, is gonna preach against concepts like that, just as a reminder, because like I said, what the Quran is not the first book that came that said that homosexuality is wrong. But it's the final book. And then just another point that I wanted to hit on was, um, yeah, Joseph. I totally don't see Joseph Smith as a prophet. I think Joseph Smith, or the man who came out with the Mormon religion,
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah.
is a false prophet. Just being that. So the Quran, it's in the Bible. Jesus himself speaks of another messenger to come in John 16. He also talks about the man who's going to persecute the church, but he speaks of another to come, and this is in John 16. So in the Bible, it speaks that there's going to be another prophet, and then the prophet Muhammad comes, and he comes with this Quran, and they have him. He's like very well documented as far as his life, so they have the hadiths on him, and the Bible says that when he comes, he's going to guide you into all truth. So the Prophet Muhammad has done like an excellent job of doing this. I don't think that no one um, prior to the Prophet Muhammad, between Jesus and Prophet Muhammad, has fit the bill in the same way, and then no one after the Prophet Muhammad could could um, could fit the bill neither. Um, just being that what what the Prophet Muhammad came with is just like, if all right, let's say this: if you didn't believe in some of the stories, because some, I totally agree with you that when you hear the story of Noah, and it talks about how the animals came two by two to onto a ship, and then the whole world was flooded. From our standpoint, it doesn't really, it's hard to make sense of, because
Mm-hmm.
nobody could do that today. so it's hard to like visualize something like that happening. But then there's like in the Quran, there's just other scientific things that is starting to get proven today that kind of show like, okay, well, if we can't prove this certain thing, we can definitely prove this. And if he's been truthful about all this, and science is starting to prove it now, then
yeah,
by process of elimination, we can believe that some of these things that may seem far fetched, as far as like Jesus' miracle where he fed a whole community with loaves of bread, 7 loaves of bread and a fish. It just makes it makes it more believable. The Prophet Muhammad also did like similar miracles.
Hey, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I remember. Let me ask you this, this when I was actually when I was in my 20s, I was definitely like researching, doing a lot of reading, saying, about Jesus and stuff. What does the Quran say about Jesus when he from those years 12 to 30 when he went missing? What is the Quran? Does the Quran say anything?
No. So it doesn't say nothing about 12 to 30. Of course, Jesus, he only had his ministry for about 3 years, according to the Bible. But it does talk about the infancy of Jesus, as far as like when Jesus was a baby, and a miracle that he did when he was a baby was he defended his mother. So Jesus's birth is still up for debate between Christians and Jews. Jews will say that Mary was lying. Christians will say that Jesus is like the Son of God, like the begotten Son of God, and the Quran says that Jesus was created by the Word of God, given to like the angel. The angel Gabriel gave the Word of God to what told Mary that God would make Jesus. The similitude of Jesus is that of Adam, where God said be and he was. So we believe that Jesus was born of a miraculous birth, and like I said, the birth of Jesus is debated between Christians and Jews, and even some Christians don't believe that Jesus was born of miraculous birth. They'll make art. So there's Old Testament scriptures that talks about a woman who would conceive, and she was a virgin. And when I tell you, Jews will say, "Oh, well, that doesn't necessarily mean virgin. That just means a young woman." But the Quran says that he was born of a miraculous birth. And when the people came to Mary, they came kind of dissing her because she came from like a pious family, and they couldn't believe that they thought that she had the baby out of wedlock or something like that. And one of the signs was rather than having Mary defend herself, she simply pointed at the infant child, and the baby spoke. So Jesus spoke as a baby and defended himself and explained his purpose as a baby to the people who came to her talking crazy.
It's a very interesting perspective.
Yeah, because I've been let me say this real quick. I ain't gonna stay up late, man. I'm about to roll. But yeah. When I was this had to be about 25 years ago, man. I met a brother. You know, he became my elder at a bookstore here in D.C. House of Kemet. His brother Tahuti, right? You know what I'm saying? He's always telling me what books to get and shit. And so we was talking one day, you know, and he said to me, he said, yo, actually, you know, said Jesus was sold into slavery. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, that's why they can't explain what happened to him from that age, you know, what was it, 12 to 30 or some shit like that. They said there is no explanation. He was actually sold into slavery into Egypt. And so I actually said I went to go like look, you know, for more research. I went to go look. And one book that I ended up getting was called the Talmud. It's a Jewish book.
Talmud.
And in that joint, you know, I had that book. I ain't got it no more, man. I had that shit. I remember I stole it from Barnes and Noble. Yeah. so yeah. In that joint, it did say that, you know, the guy Jesus Yahshua was sold into slavery into Egypt at that time, and I was like, holy shit. You know, so it's like these stories, you know what I'm saying? It's so many pieces to these stories that, you know, people, you know, we got to like actually put together to understand the whole full picture. You know, everybody has an agenda. You know, people got their agenda. They're going to leave pieces out. And another thing that I read was the Pistis Sophia. I remember, Brother Tahuti recommended I get that book, the Pistis Sophia, which also, you know, had different gospels that was around at that time. You know, of course, you know, we always hear about, you know, all these different gospels that was around, but you know, they're not in the Bible. And it's like, why they're not in the Bible, you know what I'm saying? And then when you read, I ain't even got it. I used to have the Pistis Sophia. I had that book. And in that book, I remember Jesus, it was a story. Jesus was speaking against homosexuality, you know, participating in homosexuality. But again, you know, that's a book that's just not accepted, you know what I'm saying, in traditional Christian communities. You know, it had the Gospel of Mary in that book, you know what I'm saying? And it's just so many different gospels, but it's just the stories that are out there that people neglect for certain reasons, you know what I'm saying? And I think you know what I'm saying, we gotta look at it. You know, once you start looking at them all, you know, you start collecting them, you know, you start reading them all, I think it paints a different picture than what we've been told, you know, what we've been told, especially by the Europeans. The one of the things that, you know, as I've always, you know, as a kid, you know, for me, my dad told me, you know, when I was probably 12 or 13, that, you know, that the Jesus, he's like, yo, that Jesus shit ain't real. That's what he said to me. He's like, that Jesus shit ain't real. And, you know, I think I was 12 years old, and I just had this look on my face like, what do you mean? You know, because all my life, you know, that's all I knew, you know, with the church and all that stuff. And he just looked at me and said, that Jesus shit ain't real, man. And you know what I'm saying? And it just, it hit me heavy. I was like, what the hell? And so, you know, it set me on a path, you know, I'm researching and reading, and once I got older and all that stuff. But, you know, these stories, you know, they have a reason why, you know, there are different versions of these stories of these books out there, because, you know, everybody has their agenda. And like I was saying, what I was saying, sorry, what I was saying is that, you know, as Black people, you know, we've been on this planet for so many thousands of years that, you know, these stories, they work for us. They only came about when, you know what I'm saying, these other group of people, our enemies, who've been detrimental to us, you know, these stories start to come about. But, you know, yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, definitely. Yo, I'm down with you. What you just said, you know, Muhammad. The view, the way that it's been implemented today, and how we are conceiving things. You know, it can benefit some Black people. It can benefit us, but, you know, when I look back, when I start to think about stuff, you know, I just start thinking, I was just like, you know, I feel like, you know, Islam, Christianity has been detrimental, you know, to to Black people, you know, as an overall view, you know, for over the years overall, you know what I'm saying? as everybody, not looking at it from an individual perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So I totally agree as far as you know, there's books outside of the Bible, there's gospels that are outside of the Bible that you might be able to read and they'll give you a better perspective of what was going on. I don't think that now maybe some of these books can be dismissed, but for the most part, there's stories that are in some of those outside books, like in the infancy gospel of Thomas. I was telling you about how Jesus was born of a miraculous birth, and he spoke as a baby. Um, this can be found in that infancy gospel of Thomas, which is a book that did not make canon or did not make the cut for whatever reason. The concept of Jesus not being crucified and being saved from crucifixion. This could also be found in the gospel of Barnabas.
Wow.
So I mean, that's also another purpose of the Quran. The Quran is supposed to be a confirmation of the previous scriptures, and it kind of shows that in some of these books that did not make the cut for whatever reason. There is some truth to it. But as far as like negative things, you're not really going to find negative things about the prophets in the Quran. So we as Muslims believe that the prophets were going to be like the best example of their time, the best, like the most righteous people who pretty much walked the earth in their time.
Yeah.
And there's just not really like they don't really have like those same bad stories as far as like
Wait, what you said it was the Gospel of the Thomas? What was it? I want to read that.
The infancy gospel of Thomas.
The infancy
gospel. Yeah, infancy, okay. like the baby, like the infancy gospel of Thomas, and the gospel of Saint Barnabas. That one's going to talk about how Jesus spoke as a baby, and then the gospel of Saint Barnabas is going to talk about how Jesus. It was made to appear that Jesus was crucified, but he wasn't. Judas, in that book, it says that Judas took the place of Jesus and was made to look like Jesus, and pretty much everybody around, including the disciples, perceived Judas as being Jesus during the time of the crucifixion. So all those all the harsh punishments and things that
wait. You said people they perceive Judas as being Jesus?
Yeah, Judas's face was made to look like Jesus.
Oh wow, damn! I never heard that before, bro.
Yep. This is going to be in the Gospel of Barnabas, and you can Google that, and it'll take you, like when you Google it, it'll take you directly to that story. And when I tell you, it's very well written in a way that you can understand. And it also talks about how some of the disbelieving disciples faked his resurrection.
Oh wow!
Because like I said, in Islam, we don't believe Jesus was crucified, but it says that it doesn't clarify on who, but it just says in the Quran that it was made to appear that way, and somebody else was like crucified in his place.
Okay.
But you'll find directly in the Gospel of Saint Barnabas that Judas was the one who was crucified.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
They in the chat scared to ask you a question. I guess Emmanuel had a question. He said he gonna let it ride. But
Yeah,
I
so I mean,
wonder
like,
which part he was talking about. Probably
you know,
the part about Jesus. Well, you said a lot about him. Go ahead, though.
but yeah, like, so, you know, there's different versions of the Bible. The Ethiopian Bible, which is known to be one of the oldest versions of it, has like 88 books. You know, the King James version that's very popular in America is going to have 66 books. They have an apocryphal version of that book, which is going to have even more books. But you know, somewhere along the line, the Bible has been tampered with, and you know, it's like, who's to say what books are real and what books are fake? So now we get this Quran, and it's supposed to be like the final revelation from the exact same God, and it declare like and it declares uh, these stories. It declares what stories are true, and some of the stories that are false. But once again, like we don't really have none of the negative portrayal of the prophets and that appear in the Bible. An example is like an example is, you know, according to the Bible, that they believe that Solomon um, was like misled by his wives, and the Quran comes through and says that you know, Solomon, you know, he did not do magic, but it was the people around him who did magic, and that Solomon was blessed. But you know, according to the Bible, like Solomon like lost his blessing closer to the end of his life. There's the story. I want to say, I can't remember if it was Noah or Lot, but one of those prophets was said to have slept with their daughters in the Bible after
Mhm.
after getting drunk. But we don't have nothing like that in the Quran. So I like, it's not to say that I can't say if it's true or not, because the Quran doesn't say that didn't happen, but at the same time, like, you just don't have that. You don't have that story in the Quran as far as like the bad things that it mentions that the prophets have done. Even the story of David, where it talks about David taking that man's wife, and,
Mhm.
and, and sending him to battle. I'm not sure if that's true or not, because we don't have nothing like that in the Quran.
Yeah. So I guess I guess the Muslim take, because you know at that one point in
We
history
believe
they.
that the Bible. We believe that the Bible has been altered, but it's just like, um, the stories that the Quran confirms, we know are true, and everything, like, I guess everything else, you just kind of have to like do your judgment on.
Yeah. All right. So I guess, well, I mean, I guess y'all take it as Jesus, because you know Jesus was a real person, as they say. You know, some people say, you know, he wasn't real, and he was real. So I guess, you know, the Quran take it when he was a real person.
But yeah, a literal figure, born of miraculous birth. According to the Hadith, Jesus is going to return in the end times, and he's gonna kill the Antichrist, or the Dajjal, and so, like, you know, this concept is actually like within the Bible, but we just have like more information on it. So like I was telling you, we kind of know where exactly Jesus is going to land, and this is like, you know, this is back in the year 600. The Prophet Muhammad came with this message, and it's starting to make a little more sense in our time frame, because you know,
Mm.
what the Jews are doing to the Palestinian people is genocide. The concept of the Jews being the synagogue of Satan. Now, you know,
Mhm.
this is a topic that I'm almost like kind of icky on just talking about it, because of how much power and influence that the Jews have today.
Yeah.
I'm watching videos online of them arresting people in Europe just for speaking on the genocide of Palestinians on
Yeah.
signs.
Yeah. Exactly.
But like I said, it's starting to make more sense because here we got these Europeans who declare to be God's chosen people, and they're coming to this land where Jesus actually walked. The prophets actually used to live, and they're claiming that this is their land, and they're supposed to be a holy people. They're supposed to be like the chosen people, but yet they're not really acting in accordance. There's rumors starting to get out that they're doing like blood sacrifices of humans and things of that nature, and they're actually showing themselves to be like the synagogue of Satan. So I was saying that it says in the Quran, or in the Quran, it says in the Hadith that when Jesus comes back, he's going to come back and kill the Dajjal. He's going to land in Tel Aviv. So this is like literally in the year 600 that this man said this, and now we're watching like literally on TV how the Jews or the so-called Jews are acting towards the Palestinian people, America, these other lands, and it brings into perspective. It makes more sense now. Like these hadiths and Quran verses make more sense now more than ever. Like the Prophet Muhammad said that the Jews were going to do something very very devastating in the hadiths, and they're waiting on a Messiah too. So like the Jews are preparing themselves for a Messiah, and the Messiah that they're preparing themselves for is what we believe to be the Dajjal or Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus is going to come back and kill that character. But before it gets to that point, it's almost as if like the whole world is going to be against them.
Oh, we're against them already.
Exactly.
Man, them mofos, man. I don't even want to speak on it. Just get my blood pumping, man. I just can't. Ever since I was in high school, you know what I'm saying? They made us go watch that movie Schindler's List. They took us for a field trip to actually watch Schindler's List. And so when we got back to school, you know what I'm saying, we had a conversation about it. And I said, why the hell did I have to go watch that shit? Well, I didn't say that, but I was like, I said like that's like I don't get it. I said I'm black. I said I'm a black American. My people were slaves. I said why we got to watch that stuff? You know what I'm saying? And of course, everybody, the white had a number of white teachers, and the people, other kids in the room, they was looking, and the black kids was like, "Yo, what with you?" I was like, "Yo, as a black man, I don't understand why we gotta." I was like, and they was like, "Yo, we're trying to connect you, let you understand." But I'm like, we have to go watch some bullshit about some white people fighting white people. I'm like, come on, man, that's y'all. That's a domestic violence problem. Then we ain't got to do with it. But yeah, man, the problem that we got going on in Israel with the Palestinians is completely unacceptable. And like you said they predict that Jesus coming back and land in Tel Aviv. Again, that goes back to what I said. That nigga ain't come here for us.
No, it's gonna be for us, because think about it like this: the Jews, they and to be real, like
who is us? What's going on? What's going on, y'all? Shalom, peace.
Peace.
It's a lot of confusion going on. A lot of
It's
confusion going on, bro.
When
I hear
Jesus comes-
niggas separating himself from some people in another land, saying he's not coming for us. And then you say he is coming for us. And then I can clearly see that y'all two different nationalities. So I'm trying to see What's going on when one person says us versus the next person? I need some clarity there, and then I got
let me
another
clear
question.
that up. Wait, let me clear that up real quick. You know what I'm saying? What's up, bro? What I was saying, as black people, the Muhammad's and you know what I'm saying that Jesus, they didn't come here to save us as black people because we have existed on this planet for hundreds of thousands of years. You know, you go back 300,000 years, we was always here. You know what I'm saying? So they came at a later date. And if you ask any Christian, from far as I know, any educational Christian, they'll tell you, you know what I'm saying, Jesus Christ is not the same as Asar and Aset and Haru, which many black people, so you know what I'm saying, black historians try to connect that Jesus is just a copy of a story from ancient Kemet. And so since Christians will say no, Jesus is not a copy from a story of ancient Kemet. He was an actual person, a prophet that came about. And then the Muslims will tell you that Muhammad, you know what I'm saying, is not, we don't follow, you know, anything that came from Kemet. You know, we don't follow that anything that came out of Africa. Muhammad was a person himself that came about as a prophet. So since there's no connection to Kemet in Black Africa, what I'm saying is that black people, we've already been here living that righteous life connected with the universe.
Right. I got you, man. I got you, man. So
they ain't come here for us. That's what I'm saying. That's all I said.
Yeah, I figured. I got that. I figured that. So Jesse, what did you mean when you said he is coming for us? Because last time I talked to you, I don't recall you having no connection to Kemet or ancient Africa.
So the Prophet Muhammad, I believe, is not just believe, but the Quran says that the Prophet Muhammad came for the entirety of the world. And when we talk about Jesus, he's known to be the Messiah. He's and this is in the Quran too. So he's not just going to be a Messiah to a specific people. He's going to basically be like the Messiah for the world. Now I was telling you that the Prophet Muhammad had made some prophecies about the Jews and things things to come, and we're literally starting to watch these prophecies unfold with literally like within the past 2 years.
Can you give me a prophecy that Muhammad made that wasn't already prophesied from the prophets of old that came to pass?
A prophecy, he prophesied the telephone or the cell phone.
There's already evidence that there was telecommunication devices way thousands of years before Muhammad. So I wouldn't necessarily say that he could prophesy something that already existed. But I'm curious. I'm not gonna negate what you're saying. I was just about to, throw that out there and then say I'm curious to know what surah you're referring to.
So this is going to be in a hadith.
Oh,
and this is a hadith that you can just look up the hadith.
So it's not actually in any of Muhammad's writings.
It's going to be in a hadith. So the hadiths are going to be like what the companions wrote down.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Said. So that wouldn't be Muhammad's writing.
It's not, because the Prophet Muhammad was what is that word? He didn't write. The Prophet Muhammad was illiterate. So the Quran was given to the Prophet Muhammad from the angel Jibril. So we literally believe the Quran is the word of God.
Is the Quran considered writings from Muhammad?
No. I mean, we consider the Quran to be like the direct word of God sent to the Prophet Muhammad, and even he didn't write it down. His companions compiled it.
And I like how you finesse that, but I just go off of your words. So you're calling the Quran the word of God. So I'll go according to you. I don't like to be too contrary. So you're saying the hadith isn't the word of God, but you're saying the prophecy would have had to be the word of God, though, right?
So the prophets, or the hadiths are going to be what the companions wrote down about the prophet in the times that he was living. So the prophet said things that he didn't put into the Quran. He did actions that he didn't put into the Quran, and those were recorded by the companions of him, and those recordings are showing to be just as accurate.
Can you give
So
me an example of a similar prophecy in the Bible, like an example of a prophecy that didn't come from the Word of God, but it was considered a prophecy, like what you're conflating with Muhammad?
I would consider the gospel in general to be the similitude of the hadiths.
What prophecies you got in the Gospels that weren't
The
already prophesied from the prophets about?
the Jews would be the synagogue of Satan.
That's not a prophecy. That's actually the Lord, and He says verbatim, "I know," which means that it's currently going on. It's not saying that it was something that was in future tense.
It said that we will make them the synagogue of Satan.
So in other words, all the motherfuckers was always the devil.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
believe so, because I declare that book or that verse is said that these actions will come. So Jesus is prophesying
no,
that
that's
the
not what
Jews
it
will
says. I
become.
can read it for you verbatim if you want.
Please
Yeah,
do.
it's Revelations 2:9. It
Hmm.
says, "I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and are not, but they are the synagogue of Satan." Not that they will be. But I get where you're coming from. I don't really want to drag that too long. One of my other questions that I wanted to get to, because I know I used to have discussions with Muslims a lot, because I used to call myself Muslim for a minute. I never really read the Quran too much, because at the time it wasn't a lot of what do you
Hey,
call
wait,
it?
hey, wait,
The
wait, wait, brother,
the clear English.
brother.
But
Can I ask you a question? Hold up.
yeah, go ahead.
That scripture. Wait, where did you read that scripture from?
That was Revelation 2:9.
2 and 9. Okay. Um. All right, but I mean, damn, that was deep though, yo, brother. But that was deep. I think, as you said, it doesn't say they are given a future, but I mean, if you just reading that and you looking at shit from today, how can you actually deny and say, well, they are not?
Huh? Wait, what? I'm confused by the question. I'm sorry. You said, how
Well,
can I look
all right,
at that?
all right. Yo, forgive me. You know what I'm saying? Yo, y'all continue. I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Don't. Never mind me. Never mind
No,
me.
no, I'm gonna come
So
back to that, because I sometimes I just be having a problem understanding. My mind is just, it work like that. I got a problem with computing, and I have a problem explaining. And I'm
No,
transparent enough to say
no
that
problem. No
I don't
problem.
ever want you to think it's nothing on you or nothing personal. But
okay,
I definitely want to come back to that. But before I do lose train of thought, I had one main question for Jesse. It was, I'm sure you've heard Christians or Hebrews come at you with Galatians 1:7-8 a lot of time. You,
you probably you got to remind me of that one.
okay, I don't want to butcher it.
And real quick, why you look that one up? I was gonna
Mhm.
say, here's a prophecy that Jesus said. Uh, Jesus spoke of the prophet Muhammad in John 16. So literally, Jesus talks about another to come that will guide the people into
Yeah, that's
righteousness.
talking about the spirit. For me, it literally says it in the same chapter, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, and we believe in the Quran says directly that the Holy Spirit is sent it from your Lord in truth to reaffirm the believers. So even in that sense,
So he said
um,
he'll send the Holy Spirit. He didn't say he would send Muhammad.
but I'm just saying that the Quran was sent from the Spirit. The
Okay.
Quran itself the Quran says word for word uh, that it was sent from the Holy Spirit in truth to reaffirm the believers. So like, you know, we believe that verse is about the Prophet Muhammad. You know, Christians would say that it's about the Holy Spirit, or about just about a spirit.
Because that's
And
what the scripture says. So if
right,
you say
right,
that it's talking about Muhammad, that's kind of like just inferring that versus what
yeah.
the scripture actually says.
But like I said, the Quran says directly that the Quran was sent from
Yeah,
the
but
Holy
the
Spirit and
Quran
truth.
says if you need understanding and validated from the Torah and the Tanakh, right?
No, not really.
Okay, I could be misunderstanding that, but it sounds like you familiar with
Yeah,
what I'm
because
talking about.
I'm very familiar.
So what's your understanding of that verse or surah?
That verse was talking about how like that verse was meant to say that you know, the Jews came to the Prophet Muhammad with a to try to trick him up, or try to you know, um, catch him in like a blasphemy, or catch him in a lie, or something of that sort. Like trying to get him to contradict what the previous scripture said, and ultimately, you know, that verse is saying something along the lines of like, how can you believe in this message that the Prophet Muhammad has come with, when you don't even believe in your own message?
Uh, yeah, that would make sense, but I can't see how you would try and direct that to the Jews, and the Quran wasn't directed to the Jews. So that should be directed to whoever the Quran was directed to as well.
The Quran
Because
is
I'm
directed to everybody.
100% familiar with the fact that there's definitely certain things in the Quran that speak uh exclusively to the children of the book, or the people of the book, and the
Right.
Jews. I'm
Right.
100%
And
familiar with that.
the people of the book are the Bible. The people of the Bible. So
Right.
like,
So this is kind of circling back to a previous conversation that we've had. So it seems like our understanding can kind of level out here, and like I say, your your understanding is that it's directed to the Jews, and my understanding is that if this is something that the Jews need to do, and they don't need to read the Quran, then why isn't this something that the people who do need to read the Quran need to do? If they need to read the Quran, then they would need to validate it with the sources that came before. Just as if
so
you're telling them, hey, people of the book, why aren't you believing in this? Or I wouldn't expect you to believe in this if you're not believing in what came before. Saying that if someone would believe in that, then they would believe in what came before.
so the Quran is for everybody. It's not a message that it's not like the Jews were only supposed to follow the Torah. Um, they were supposed, when Jesus came, they were supposed to follow Jesus. When the Prophet Muhammad came, they were supposed to follow the words of the Prophet.
Who was around Muhammad when he was compiling this information?
The companions. So there was
Where were they from?
I would say the same area that he was from.
Hmm.
But I
And
mean,
where do you get
like the
where do
Prophet
you get
Muhammad,
the understanding that it's for everybody according
the
to
Quran
Muhammad?
says that it came for the entirety of the world. The Quran says that directly.
So do you know the Aramaic versions of that word have different definitions?
Right, but every
So is it
translation.
possible? Let's just be honest, because I could tell we've had a few conversations. I know you're studied. Is it possible at all? Let's just speak hypothetical. That's not talking about the whole entire world. Is it possible?
No,
Uh,
and the reason why I say that is because there's multiple translations for this verse, and every translation is going to say, um, something of that sort, as far as that he came for the entirety of the world, or he came for the entirety of the universe. He came for all not just humans, but he came for the humans, the jinn, um, and I would even say animals, according to some translations.
Something that's really interesting, according to this whole world topic, there was just a big debate in the community about a week ago now, dealing with this. There was literally a whole era where Muslims, the Moors, had a piece of the world that was considered the world of the Moors. It wasn't the whole world, and it's these same people of this book that you're referring to, and it was called the world of the Moors. You should look into that time frame and what was encompassed geographically as the world of the Moors, because it's in the same exact area. But like I say, I still ain't got to my one question. I just want you to try and explain to me how the Quran could possibly be valid after reading something like Galatians 1 and 7 through 8. I'll start from verse 7. It says, matter of fact, I'll start from verse 6 just for clarity. It says, I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you into grace of Christ unto another gospel, which is not another. But there be some that trouble you. So there is no other gospel, but there are things other than the gospel that can trouble you and would pervert the gospel of Christ. Verse 8, but though we or an angel from heaven. So it don't matter if it was Gabriel, Michael, Phanuel, any other angels that they came up with names for in the book of Enoch. It don't matter who it was according to the Bible. It says, preach any other gospel unto you than that which have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
Right.
How you
So
deal with that is to say nothing from any other person or any other angel was to be considered valid according to Christ.
so this isn't the Quran is not a gospel. Um, and the person who wrote Galatians is going to be Paul or Saul,
What is the
and
gospel?
the gospel is going to be the gospel of Jesus. So it's going to be it's
It goes like
Barnabas, but
it goes
but
like
um
time.
but beyond that, you know, just to get a little further context of um, that verse in Galatians was written by Paul or Saul. This is the gentleman who persecuted the
So you
followers.
don't believe the New Testament? You don't believe in the New Testament?
No, I do. I believe
Okay,
in its totality.
does Christ say that Paul was a chosen vessel?
No,
Okay.
and I was telling you. So let me say this because I want to finish my point on Paul or Saul. So Paul, prior to him getting his revelation or having the vision where he's seen um like where he got the where he changed his belief on Jesus. Paul was persecuting the Christians, and he was persecuting the disciples of Jesus. So during the time of Paul, he was literally coming after those who were more closer to Jesus, more in line with the teachings of Jesus, and he was killing them, and he admits to this in the Bible. I can pull those verses up as well. Um, there's verses in
Yeah, but
Acts.
before you go pull up those verses, I do want to show you something because you said no confidently, and I just wanted to take some time and go pull the verse so I could read it verbatim. It actually says, "But the Lord saith unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, This is the Lord speaking about Paul. Coincidentally, you said that you knew him as Saul, and when you go back up to verse 11, I believe, it says, "And the Lord said unto him, Arise and go into the street which is called Straight, and inquire to the house of Judas for one called Saul." So
Okay.
he's telling you, this is the Lord telling you that he chose
And
Paul.
this is according to Paul or Saul himself. And what I was trying to
No, just for clarity now, when I read Galatians and what it said, you tried to eliminate that by it being a writing of Paul, as if he had no
no,
validity.
but let me finish. So
Is that what
Paul,
happened though? That's not what just happened?
yeah, but you gotta let me just finish my
Okay,
explanation.
my bad. Go.
So Paul was persecuting the disciples. He was literally killing the disciples, and so this verse is going to be more direct regarding the people who had gospels. So something else is in John 16, which is the verses where it talks about another to come, the Spirit of truth, and things of that nature. And the same in those same verses, he says, "Do not follow the person who persecutes the church." Uh, they'll 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 say that they're doing things in God's name and
Is that
in
not what
Jesus's
Muhammad
name.
was doing? Did he not? Was he not saying that he got these things from an angel that was sent from God? That's not what happened. This was something different.
So the difference is the angel that gave the Prophet Muhammad his revelation is going to be the angel Jibril. This is the same angel who gave the word
But
of Jesus to man.
I just read a verse where the chosen vessel from the Lord said it doesn't matter if it's an angel or not. Hundreds of
Right, but
years
I'm
before
explaining to
Muhammad.
you.
But
I was
this is
explaining to you
hundreds of
that
years
this is
before
Paul.
Muhammad. So how does Muhammad pop up hundreds of years later and just discredit that verse?
So like I was saying, this is a verse of Paul, and Paul or Saul persecuted the church, and then in John 16 it literally says, "Don't follow the
Who is
man
the
who
church?
persecutes the
Who is the
church."
church?
The Church of Jesus, or those or the this it also is translated as synagogue.
Okay, so Jews would have been encompassed in the church.
This is going to be more direct to the followers of Jesus, and it talks about how
Were
they'll
there
kill
any
you.
Jews? So you're saying Jews weren't followers of Jesus?
No, because
What,
if they were followers of
Jesse?
Jesus, they wouldn't be Jews.
Jesse, I don't want you to keep saying no to things and me having to go pull the scriptures to show you what's going on.
I-
I
I'm
need
saying
no, hold on,
I'm
brother,
saying
from
some
from me
Jews
to
would have been
you.
followers.
I
Some Jews
I
would have
got
been
you, Jesse.
followers of Jesus. But what I'm saying is, if they still considered themselves Jews, they were not followers of Jesus because literally the difference between a Jew and a Christian is Jews deny Jesus.
So listen, Jesse,
So
from brother to brother, I respect
and man, bro, you gotta let me
I
finish
respect
because
all.
you never let me finish my point.
Oh my bad.
You never.
Go
All
ahead,
right, so look, Paul persecuted the church. This is something that he documented within the Bible, and in John 16 it says, "Don't follow that man who persecutes the church. They'll kill you. They'll drag you out of the church. Because they neither knew me nor did they know the Father." So this is what it says in John 16. That these are going to be in red letters. These are literal words of Jesus according to John. And Paul he fits this description. Now, as far as the angel, um, as far as the angel thing that you were speaking of, according to Revelations, according to Revelations, an angel appeared to John and told him things to come. So there's a common misconception that it's Jesus speaking to John in Revelations. It's not Jesus speaking directly. The according to Revelations 1:1, it says that the revelation, it is a revelation from God to an angel no, excuse me, from God to Jesus to an angel, and the angel is the one who delivered the revelation to Paul, or not, excuse me, John. And in Revelations, this angel is referred to the morning star, the bright morning star. So literally in the Bible, there is a verse where the angel calls himself the bright morning star, and according to the book of Isaiah, the bright morning star is Lucifer. And it says this, it says it direct.
So you're conflating a lot of things, and that's what I was
So,
getting
so
ready.
look here. What I'm trying to explain to you is that John or Paul is speaking about when he's talking about coming with another gospel, he's literally talking about a gospel. The Quran is not a gospel. The gospels are those that were following Jesus, and Paul was killing those people who came with gospels that didn't fit his likings. And then when it talks about an angel,
That's not true at all, Jesse. So look,
it
what I need,
is.
it's not. So what
All
I
right, what
need
part
you,
do you say is not true?
none of what you just said is true according to the Bible.
Okay, I'm about to pull my scriptures now.
Okay.
So, but first, which part do you want me to focus on? Because I said a lot.
I
The
know.
angel part, or
Yeah,
the
yeah. I
or
want
Paul
it.
persecuting the church
Um.
and the
E,
disciples.
either or. But
Okay,
what?
I'm gonna start with Paul persecuting
But
the disciples.
while you pull your scriptures, what I was trying to tell you before you before you I'm not trying to sound facetious at all. Before you dug the hole deeper, it's been a lot of things that you've been talking about, speaking from the Bible, that are 100% false, and that's why I'm saying, brother to brother, I don't mind you accepting whatever religion or walk of life you're accepting. All I'm saying is, for certain arguments, and just for pure knowledge and wisdom, for yourself, reread the New Testament. It may not benefit you spiritually as a quote unquote follower of Christ, but like I said, for your arguments and for your understanding, knowledge and wisdom to be more accurate with your statements, reread the New Testament, brother.
Inshallah, I wouldn't mind reading the New Testament, but I'm telling you that I've
Paul killed
read,
no one once he got the understanding of Christ.
but he did
This
kill
was
some.
this was
So first of
all
all,
this was all before
okay,
Paul being a Jew and a Pharisee of Pharisees. So that's
incorrect,
why I said it was certain things that you were conflating, because he did
incorrect.
persecute the church as well.
Okay, but I would say that's incorrect because he was a Jew or a Pharisee when he was persecuting the church. Now, give me a second.
No, that's what I just said.
All right, but he
But
still was a Jew or a Pharisee, right?
what I'm saying is, as well, he killed no one after he understood who Christ was. And I need you to understand that part for you to not conflate what you're saying, as if he understood who Christ was, and then there were people making gospels about Christ, and he started persecuting and killing them. That's an incorrect order.
All right, give me a second because I'm about to break it down to you, just verse with the verses only. Isaiah 14.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
saying make it make
14.
sense, Jesse. Make it make sense.
and and another thing that you were conflating is the Lucifer in Isaiah and the morning star in Revelation. That's another conflation. That's incorrect.
Give me a second.
Bring that back, Jesse.
All right, I got you. I got you.
Because
Now take your time. I'm not rushing you. Take your time.
in the morning star theory that you're putting together in Isaiah, it's that Lucifer is the king of Babylon. And if you ever want to just get super direct and just kill it real quick, all you gotta do is go to the same verse and switch versions. You go to a different version, same exact verse. It says King of Babylon. This is someone that was ruling on earth that fell from rulership. That's why you also see things like kings of Israel in Babylon. You have to have an understanding of what was going on there, why people were being called light bearers and being called morning stars and having the light and being king.
Okay. All right. So now I'm ready. So now I'm gonna start with uh, John 16. Okay. So this is gonna be John 16,
Copper
and
Drake, hold on, Jesse, 1 second before you get started. Copper Draco, show your screen. I think I'm familiar with you. Or are you the troll? Is that why your name is familiar? You the guy that's been trolling.
That.
Say that again.
I said, come on, don't do that. I'll be seeing you on Smoke Signal Channel.
Okay. My bad. I was confused. I just wanted. It's been some guy coming up here just saying a bunch of N words and stuff. My bad. How you feeling today?
I am great, man. Yourself, both, all y'all good?
Yeah, we doing
all
amazing. Thanks
good.
for coming to support.
Assalamu
Go ahead,
alaikum.
Jesse. My apologies for cutting your wisdom.
No problem. So this is going to be John 16. I'm going to read from the New International Version, just because it's easier to digest in our times. So it says, "All this I have told you, so that you will not fall away. They will put you out of the synagogue. In fact, the time is coming
What
when
verse you
anyone."
starting at, Jesse? You
I'm
just
starting
said
right
John
at the
6.
beginning. This is right at the beginning. This is John 16:1.
Okay.
It says, "All this I have told you, so that you will not fall away." Pay attention to that first part, but I'm not gonna do no interpretation. I'm just gonna read the verses as they are. It says, "All this I have told you, so that you will not fall away. They will put you out of the synagogue. In fact, the time is coming when anyone who kills you will think that they are offering a service to God. They will do such things because they have not known the Father or me. I've told you this so that when their time comes, you will remember that I warned you about them. I did not tell you this from the beginning because I was with you, but I'm going to He who sent me. None of you asked me where I'm going. Rather, you are filled with grief because I have said these things. But it is true. But verily, truly, I tell you, it is for your good that I'm going away. Unless I go away, the advocate will not come to you. But if I go, I will send him to you. When he comes, he will prove the world to be in the wrong about sin and righteousness and judgment, and about sin because the people do not believe in me, about righteousness because I'm going to the Father where you can see me no longer, and about judgment because the prince of this world now stands condemned." So this is John 16. That was from verse 1 to 11. So real quick, I just want to say that he spoke of a man to come. He spoke of two different people. First, he spoke of the man who's going to persecute the church, and he explained that he was explaining to you this so you do not fall away. And that man of the church, or that man who that man is going to take people out of the synagogues, and he's going to kill them because he neither knew the Father nor him. And so he basically told you not to follow this person. And then in the same verses, he told you about an advocate to come who would basically reprieve the world. So of course, I believe that man who persecuted the church is Paul, and the advocate is going to be the Prophet Muhammad. So now let me go to. This is going to be. I'm gonna read a few verses from Paul.
So can you give me the prophecy of Paul in John 16 one more time? Which verse are you considering?
This is John 16:1. Do you want me to read it? It's 1 through 12 that I just read.
No, I mean like which verse is sticking out to you?
The first verses were, because all right, so I just read. All right, hold on, I'm gonna go back to that. Give me a second, and then I'm gonna go into the verses regarding Paul right after. So this is not Revelations. This is John 16:1. All this I have told you, so you will not fall away. They will put you out of synagogue. In fact, the time is coming when anyone who kills you will think that they are offering a service to God. They will do such things because they have not known the Father or me. I've told you this so that when their time comes, you will remember that I warned you about them. I tell you this from the beginning because I did not tell you about this from the beginning because I was with you. But now I'm going to he who sent me. So that's 16, 1 through 5. Those verses are referring to Paul. And now I'm about to prove it with the scripture. So
What you mean when you say it's referring to Paul?
I'm about to show you with the scripture. So this is Acts 8:1. This is Acts 8:1. Now Saul was consenting to his death, and at the time a great persecution arose against the church, which was in Jerusalem, and they were all scattered throughout the regions of Judea, Samaria, except the apostles. This is Acts 8:3. As for Saul, he made havoc of the church, entering every house and dragging off men and women and committing them to prison. This is Acts 9, 1 through 2. It says, Then Saul, still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord, went to the high priest and asked letters from him to the synagogues of Damascus, so that if he found any who were in the way, whether men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. This is 1 Corinthians 15:9. It says, For I am the least of the apostles, who am not worthy to be called an apostle, because I persecuted the church of God. This is going to be Acts 22, 3 through 4. I am indeed a Jew, born in Tarsus of Cilicia, but brought up in the city at the feet of Gamaliel, taught according to the strictness of our father's law, and was zealous towards God as you are today. I persecuted this way to death, binding and delivering into prison both men and women. This is going to be Acts 26, 9 through 11. Indeed, I myself thought I must do many things contrary to the name of Jesus of Nazareth. This I also did in Jerusalem, and many of the saints I shut up in prison, having received authority from the chief priests. And when they were put to death, I cast my vote against them, and I punished them often in every synagogue and compelled them to blasphemy, being exceedingly enraged against them. I persecuted them even to foreign cities. This is going to be Acts 7, 57 through 58. Then they cried out with a loud voice, stopped their ears, and ran to him with one accord, and they cast him out of the city and stoned him.
I'm trying to keep up with you. What's the verse that you just read previously?
The one that I previously read was going to be Acts 26, 9 through 11.
Okay.
I can quote all those verses that I just read as well if you want to go back on any of those.
And then now where are you going now?
This is going to be Philippians 3, 5 through 6. Circumcised on the 8th day of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of Hebrews, concerning the law of the Pharisees, concerning the zeal, persecuting the church, concerning the righteousness which is in the law, blameless. But you know what? Like these are verses of Paul admitting to him persecuting the church, and I've already read
But
from John 16.
But when?
See, it doesn't say when.
No,
when
it does.
said,
It does.
but
That's why
let
I'm
me
trying to
say
get
this.
that. Hold on, Jesse.
It
That's
doesn't
why I'm
matter.
trying to get you to understand the context. And you just went all the way to Acts 26, and it's talking about the conversion of Paul in Acts 26. So when you go to the context of him telling you about his conversion, he's telling you this is what he came from.
So I'm going to read First Corinthians 15:9 again. For I am the least of the apostles, who am not worthy to be called an apostle, because I persecuted the church of God. That's First Corinthians 15:9. Now, that verse in John 16 says, uh, do not follow
So
the man who persecutes the church. He will drag you out of the synagogue because he neither knew the Father nor him. And John 16 is going to be prior to the coming of Paul, because Paul did not live during the time of Jesus. And Jesus was
exactly.
taken up prior to Paul living. So these actions that Paul was committing was fits the bill.
So what was Paul's conversion? When did he understand who Christ was to where he stopped doing this?
I want to say when he was in Antioch, but I gotta be
When was this?
when he received like a vision or something like that.
Was this
This is going to be so. First of all,
so now you
Paul
walking
did
with
not
me and
come.
you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying now?
No, because I think what you're
I'm
failing to
saying
realize
Paul
is
is telling you that
I'm over
this
here
because
laughing.
I think what you're
I'm
failing to
I'm
realize is
saying Paul is
Paul did all
telling you
these
that he
actions,
did these things before his conversion.
but that doesn't matter. Jesus did not say
It
follow.
does matter. That's
It
been my
doesn't,
whole
because
point.
think like this. Jesus.
You can't try and conflate and act like Paul understanding who Christ was and understanding the message was persecuting the people out of that, saying no other gospel should be written. That's not what was going on.
So this is going to be. I'm back at John 16.
But what I'm saying is what we just read is before Galatians, which is why you even brought that up. So I'm telling you, you were incorrect for trying to reach and say Paul was doing things incorrectly when he spoke what he spoke at Galatia.
All right. So this is going to be Acts 9, 1 through 2. Then Saul, still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord, went to the high priest and asked letters from him to the synagogue of Damascus. So, what if he found any who were in the way, whether men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem? So in this verse, he's literally threatening murder against the disciples. This is Acts 9, 1 through 2.
For what?
Hmm? Oh, this is, I'm telling you that Paul was threatening murder against the disciples.
For what? What was he doing it for?
Now, I would say because they had a gospel that contradicted his gospel.
You said a gospel that contradicted his gospel,
Correct.
but
He didn't like he did.
but he told you that he wasn't worthy of being called
An apostle. Correct. Because he persecuted the church.
it's not adding up for you, Jesse.
Brother, I don't think you're catching on, because I literally read a verse from John 16, and I'm going to reread this verse.
So in one sense, you're saying that he was worthy of being considered a disciple or apostle, and then in another sense, you're saying that he's telling you he was more worthy than them to where he could persecute them. That's not adding up, bro.
Yeah. No, that's adding up. That's adding up correctly because think about this. Um, prior, prior, he was killing the believers. He was having threats of murder to the disciples, and this is prior to his conversion. And even after his conversion, he declared that he wasn't worthy of being called an apostle because he persecuted the church. So he recognizes that his actions made him not worthy, and he admitted it in the Bible verse.
Okay, what verse did you just read? Where he was you said he was still persecuting the church. I believe he was in Acts 9.
Acts 9, 1 through 2.
Acts 9, 1 through 2.
Yeah.
All right. Let me prove something to you real quick.
You over there taking notes, Emmanuel, or you just that good?
Uh when it's really time to work, let me tell you,
Let's go. Let's go. Go ahead.
when it's really time to work,
Mhm.
I get in my Bible and I have my Bible out, my physical Bible and my Bible on my phone now. With
Okay.
you know what I'm saying, and with my touch and all that, when I get in my zone. So
So
when you read Acts chapter 9, it's talking about Saul's conversion. Like I've told him several times, when you're speaking about Paul telling you things that he was doing, or you're reading about things that Paul was doing in a unrighteous fashion, it's because he's not understanding who Christ was and what his message truly is and what Christ
I
is
agree
trying
with that.
to use him for.
I agree with that.
So when you read, let's start from the beginning, like you did. And Saul, yet breathing out, threatening, and slaughter against the disciples of the Lord, went unto the high priest, and desired of him letters to Damascus, to the synagogues, that if he found any of this way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound unto Jerusalem. And as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. You know what's going on now, right? And
Yeah.
he fell to earth and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And he said, Who art thou, Lord? And Lord said, I am Jesus, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
So what's going on there?
According to Paul, he received a revelation from Jesus, basically telling them not to persecute him,
And
persecute his
how
people.
how how was he do? Oh, okay. So you saying after he had this vision, he was still doing that. That's what you saying.
No, brother. What I'm saying is in John 16,
You just told me that two, three
hold on,
times though,
hold on.
Jesse.
In John 16, Jesus tells you not to follow the man who persecutes the church because they neither know him nor the Father. I'm not look beyond conversion period. What I'm telling you is the actions that Paul or Saul did fit in line with the prophecy that was spoken of in John, where Jesus told, "Do not follow the man who persecutes the church." So regardless of his conversion, regardless of the fact that he converted, and even after his conversion, he declared that he was the least of the apostles because he persecuted the church.
So
So
hold
even
on, hold
after,
on, Jesse. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Cause um I thought you knew I thought you remembered what I brought out earlier in this same chapter. So once again, you're saying that Christ told Paul or asked Paul why he was persecuting him. Because he was persecuting the people. And Paul continued to persecute the people? Is that what you're saying? Yes or no?
No, what I'm telling you is Paul,
Okay.
before Paul's conversion, he was persecuting the church. And in John 16, which is
Christ said not to
prior,
follow him. That's what you're saying.
right? And I'm
Oh,
saying
hold on, hold on, hold
John
on, hold on.
16.
Okay, so that's
Hold on,
what
let
you're
me let
saying.
me finish. Let me just finish. John 16, um, he doesn't say follow the man after he converts. He says, I told you this so that you will not fall away. The man who persecutes the church, do not follow him. He will drag you out of the synagogues, and he who does this,
You don't remember what I brought out, Jesse. So
he
listen, I'm finna read it
hold
to you
on,
again.
brother. I
Acts
totally get what you're
Acts
saying.
9 and
You're
15.
trying to declare that you're trying to declare that after he converted that he was good. But what I'm telling you is
No,
John
no,
was
no. I'm not finna declare nothing. I'm finna read to
okay.
you what the Lord said so you can get a better understanding.
Okay.
He said, go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me to bear my name before the Gentiles and the kings and the children of Israel.
Okay.
So if he's bearing the name, that means he's speaking the word. So let's go back to Galatians 1 in verse 8. And when you hear that paper turning, it's serious. And it says, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you. There isn't any other, but there will be some that trouble you and would pervert the gospel of Christ. This isn't talking about any other gospel that was already written. But though we or an angel from heaven, either one, preach any other gospel unto you than which we, not I. This ain't Paul saying just what I spoke to you. He say we preach unto you. Let him be accursed. So all the gospels that they already had. You still
Say
there?
again. Yeah, I'm here.
Paul isn't talking about just his writings. According to the Lord, we are to listen to Paul when he's bearing his name. He says there is nothing other than the gospels we already had that we should be following from any man or any angel, lest he be accursed.
Okay. So what is the point, or what is your conclusion of this?
This is after he is a chosen vessel of the Lord to bear his name. So, how do you deal with that if Muhammad is saying an angel came and did what Paul said? Don't worry about if this happens. That man is accursed. You said he already couldn't read and write.
So let me okay, I got you. So the first thing that I want to point out is in John 16, I'm going to reread this verse. It says, all of this I have told you so you will not fall away. They will put you out of the synagogue. In fact, the time is coming when anyone who kills you will think that they are offering a service to God. They will do such things because they have not known the Father or me. I have told you this so that when their time, uh, I warned, I have told you this so that when their time comes, you will remember that I warned you about them. I did not tell you this from the beginning because I am with you. So the the point that I'm trying to make is that Jesus
I got some precepts too, by the way. Let me show you exactly what that's talking about.
hold on. Let me just finish. The point that I was trying to make is that in John 16, it says, "Do not follow the man who persecutes the church." And it says it very clearly. And these are words of Jesus. This is what Jesus said prior to him ascending. And something else is Paul did not live during the time of Jesus. I'm pretty sure you're aware. Paul lived after the time of Jesus, and he was persecuting those who followed Jesus, and he was threatening murder against the disciples uh, himself. So literally, we have verses that say from Jesus that say, "Don't follow this man," and and based off of the actions. And Paul in his books explains that he did these actions. So we would not, if Paul would not have told us, we would not even know. But Paul told us in his script in his scriptures that he was the one who persecuted the churches and the synagogues. This is all after Jesus has already ascended. Jesus told you, do not follow that man. He didn't say in John 16 that when he converts and starts to believe in me that it's okay to follow him. He says, follow this man. Now
You keep missing the main part.
no, but I think you're missing the point because here's the thing.
The Lord
In
said it
John,
himself.
hold on. According to who? According to who?
According to Acts 9 and 15. You want me to read
Who
it
wrote
again?
Acts 9 and 15?
Oh, okay. I mean, once you start playing them games, you got to ask yourself how much you believe in what you're talking about from the jump.
So the point that I'm trying to make
if
is,
that's ever gonna come out your mouth, that's what you got to ask yourself: how much you believe in what you're talking about from the jump. That's why
brother,
I told
I
you,
believe
if
in what
anything,
look.
just
This is a part of the
reread
reason
it
why
for
I converted.
information to be able to be more accurate in your arguments. Because the way that you're trying to put this in sequence to fit your argument is not working.
So let me say this once again. Do I think that God used Paul? Yeah, I think God definitely did use Paul because if how do you say, God did not have to have him admit to doing these
Did
actions
Paul
in the
have a job to
scriptures,
do?
right?
What was his
Jesus
job according to the
Jesus
Lord?
prophesied him.
What was it
Jesus prophesied.
exactly? So what was his job according to the Lord?
His job was to persecute the church.
No, I'm talking about. Come on, bro. We just
I'm
read it.
telling,
Acts
brother.
9 and 15.
But hold on. But what I'm trying to explain to you is this: in
What did Acts
John
9
6,
and 15
brother,
say? According to
you
the
gotta let me
Lord.
finish. You gotta hear me out. According to John 16, Jesus told you not to follow the man who persecutes the church. So it doesn't say like when he converts, it's okay to follow him. He said, do not follow this man. And then when you're talking about verses of Acts, regardless of him converting, how true can you take his word to account when Jesus told you not to follow him? So you're over here talking about words of the Lord because the Lord told him this, but this is according to him. So the very man
No, it's
who
not. No, it's
it
not.
is
It ain't
because
according
it
to
is.
Paul. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's according to Saul. It's according to
No,
the
no,
man.
it's not. No, it's
It
not.
is
What's the
because
point of
because
contention?
Where are you getting that from?
What's
because
the
the,
point
the
of
books of
contention?
Acts, the books of Acts are of Paul and Saul, and he is the one
No, they're
who
I
not.
got the
No,
same
established
question
no,
Rome.
too.
no, they're not.
What's the
Yeah.
point of contention, gentlemen?
Yeah, now he's saying that Paul wrote Acts about himself. He wrote. No, that's incorrect. That's why I say you just got to go back and reread. You don't even know who wrote the book, who they're supposed to be attributed to.
Okay,
Could I see if Copper
so
Draco has something to add? He been listening intently.
Uh,
For sure.
I'm trying to see. Am I dealing with I know we got a Muslim brother up here. Are you? I think
I'm
Emmanuel.
a Bible believer. I'm a line by line.
All right,
Hebrew,
Line.
hold on,
Christian,
brother. Let,
all
let,
that.
let, me, let me just say this before you you chime in. I just
Okay.
want to point out that Acts are the stories of Paul. You know what I'm saying? So literally,
But
Paul or
it's
Saul.
not written by Paul
Okay,
though. You just
all right,
tried to
but
say
that's
that.
fine. But I'm saying it's still according to Paul. Like even
No, it's
even
not.
even if Luke wrote it, think about this. Even if Luke wrote it, it's
That
according
part
to
isn't according to Paul. That's why I said just go back and read it.
it is because think about this.
Okay, brother.
Who is the one who caught his uh revelation? Well, his revelation from Jesus. This is according to him. According to him, according to Paul or Saul, he received a vision from Jesus Christ. And this is literally right after making threats to the disciples of murder.
Brother,
He was persecuting the church.
that's not what's going on where we just read.
Brother, it didn't. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go right back to that verse because literally right before he converts, he's threatening murder against the disciples,
But
right?
this is somebody else writing about it, so you
Luke.
have to pay close attention to what you read.
All right, but still, even or think like this.
You can't just
Even
say but still like that just eliminates facts of misunderstanding.
all right, did Paul persecute the church?
What was Paul's job according to the Lord? What did
Hold on,
Luke
I
what
asked you a question first. I asked you a
what
question first. Who
I've,
did
we've
did
already discussed that,
But I'm
and
just saying. I
I
just want to make
brought
sure we're
you
clear. I
I
just want to make
brought
sure we're
you to
clear.
the you saying he persecuted the church, and
I he
I'm saying according to the scriptures, the Lord said Paul persecuted him. I totally understand what you're saying, but I'm gonna bring you in the
he
context to
said
get the
he said
full
he persecuted
understanding.
the church. He directly said he persecuted the church, and he said that he was the least of the apostles because he did so.
You saying exactly. So you're saying Paul said that, and I'm going to what the Lord is saying. So now who's going to Paul and who's going to the Lord? You
But
ain't
you're
paying
still,
attention to what
brother,
I'm putting
brother.
down.
You're referring to the words
The
of the
Lord
Lord,
every time.
but I'm
So if you
saying
slow down and pay attention,
according to the
you'll
same.
understand that part.
But I'm saying you're saying this according to the same scriptures where he's declaring murder against the disciples.
No,
So
you
he's literally persecuting the church, and then he receives a revelation. And what I'm trying to explain to you is, regardless of him seeing of having this revelation, it's almost as if it could be. I don't want to say thrown out, but it's like if Jesus already told you, do not follow the man who persecutes the church, and just because that man turns around and says, oh wait, you know what? I've had a vision from Jesus himself now, so now you're gonna follow him.
no. That's why I said you're not paying attention to the context. If that's how you're explaining it, you're not either you're butchering it to fit your bias explanation, or you're just not paying attention to the context. It's one or the other. Because I keep reading it verbatim to you.
But I think you're missing a valid point. The point is, regardless of what um, the vision that Paul had, Jesus has already warned you not to follow that man.
Okay, let's slow down real quick, brother. Let me read for a second.
So
Acts 9,
literally, like
Acts
we're
9
talking
verse
about
10.
Acts of Paul, and
Hold up.
and and and,
Acts
and it's
9
telling
verse
the
Acts
story of
9 verse
how
10. Acts
Ain't
9
nobody,
verse 10.
ain't
Before you
nobody
go
gonna
in,
hear me.
Emmanuel, I wanted Copper Draco to hop in and see what he had to add to the conversation.
For sure.
Yeah, I just had a couple questions, but I didn't know what I was dealing with. That's why I asked if bro was Muslim, if other bro was Hebrew, and I just had a few questions.
Yeah, what you got out?
Uh, so I take it you stand on Hebrew business, right?
Yeah, I stand on line by line from the beginning to the end.
No, I respect that. I respect that.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to ask, do you are you able to show where you guys are in ancient history past 120 years ago?
What you mean when you say you guys?
Well, the Hebrew Israelites.
You said show Hebrew Israelites in history. How long ago?
Past 120 years ago.
Mm, I mean, what kind of evidence would you be looking for? Yeah, there's plenty different
I mean,
sources.
because the first person I hear talking about it is I think like Frank Cherry's church or something like that in 1886, and I don't see nothing past that. I'm not saying that it don't exist. I was just asking, like, are you able to show me that? Like, I'm just trying to find out because I'm curious.
Um,
This brother smooth right
yeah,
here.
yeah. I appreciate the modesty and like I say, I'm one of the brothers that's upfront and honest enough to always say like when you kind of want something that explicitly would say something like Hebrew Israelite, that's that's very very modern, especially to
Mhm.
try and find something older than uh uh
Dang.
when you say 120 years ago, it's like shit. You got Bibles way older than that, so that's why I'm like, what are you referring to?
And
No,
But
and
I
I
got
was going
you.
to
I
ask a
know.
question. He's making. I believe he's making it. See, I'm the atheist perspective, I guess, over here, or agnostic. You know, I may believe, but I don't think nobody know really what to believe in. But that's another story for another time. I think he's making
Mhm.
the distinction between Hebrew Israelites and what's known as a Bible Hebrew. Whereas he's in that. I see him making a distinction, and this is an assumption, but it would have to go with the narrative of me being intuitive. If he believes that, he will also believe that y'all bloodlines ain't going with it. So that's why it doesn't line up. So that's why he's saying y'all started 120 years ago versus 1,000, 2,000, BC, whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
and if we're
okay.
using the Bible doesn't really. The Bible is like one of the only books without a timeline.
So I was completely accurate in what I just said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Got you. Go ahead, Emmanuel. It's on you. It's on you, baby.
yeah,
I know these arguments
yeah, yeah. So you saying,
because I used to use them.
can you dumb it down for me one more time? Because
I dumbed it down for you. You know, dumb it than what I
He,
just gave you. But go ahead, Draco.
he did dumb it down though. He did dumb it down.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying,
yeah, but
can,
it seems
can
like
you show you guys, can you
you was
show
putting like
evidence of you guys
who
existing?
So here's the dumbed
yeah
down version again.
yeah
The
hold
dumbed
on
down version is
okay
that the black Hebrews of today ain't the Hebrews in the Bible, and show him evidence of some black Hebrews. I guess he wants probably you to bring up some DNA or some archaeology or something
yeah
before 120 years ago, before this Frank Cherry, who I've never heard of. Appreciate you dropping that name. You already know I got the whole rundown on him right here now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he prophesies that I'll actually read, and this is from the Wikipedia. Don't judge me. This is the first link that came up. Little is known about Cherry's early adult life, other than he was born in the southern United States. He did not go to school, but educated himself in both Hebrew and Yiddish, and worked as a sailor, during which he claims to have been declared a prophet. He, a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Mason, a member of the Big Brothers organization. Very key. Second paragraph. Cherry claims to have had a vision that African Americans are the descendants of the ancient Israelites during his time abroad. He then
Mm.
established and led a congregation in Chattanooga, Tennessee, 1886, where he preached that white people were inherently evil and hated by God. He would attempt. Is this guy white? Where's the picture? I need a picture of this guy. I think it sounds like I don't know. Let's keep it moving. He then established and led. I already read that. He would attempt to spread this belief in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where he established the Church of God in 1915. Tenets of his group, known as the Church of the Living God. Wow, I think that's is that the name of somebody's church who just debated in the tournament? Let's keep it moving though. The pillar ground of truth for all nations were based on black nationalist rhetoric of the time, and he himself was a supporter of Marcus Garvey. Cherry also espoused anti-Semitism, claimed that the earth is square, and professed that Jesus will return in the year 2000 to start a race war. What? Wow, this guy. I mean, he's not off by much. I'm just gonna say that. Okay, we a race war might be a little late, but it looks like it's coming. Okay, yeah, that's it. So that's the guy he's talking about, and I guess he attributes the foundation of black Hebrew Israelite ism. Is that, do I put an ism on that? Don't worry about it. To that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm over here clouded.
Well, Flo, you didn't even say like Black Hebrew Israelite or like BHI. It's kind
Why didn't I share the screen?
in a sense for like super camp niggas, that shit is offensive. Like they're trying to
I mean,
fight to make that shit a slur and shit if they gonna be considered
Yeah, you right. You right.
like
I
legal
heard that before.
organizations. So
I
uh
heard that before.
but you know, just the understanding of Israelites in America and shit like that. Are you saying it's no evidence of that?
I can't find it.
Yeah,
I,
okay. So
I'm, I'm not saying it don't exist. I'm just saying like if it does, can you show me?
yeah, no. So like I say, the easiest way for me to explain it would be that there's
Alabama Press.
it,
That's the
it's
source.
it's gonna be no explicit evidence track wise, linguistic wise, archaeology wise, nor DNA wise that's going to literally track you directly back to Jacob, directly back to the 12 tribes, etc. It hasn't been done in thousands of years, which would let you know. Well, I ain't gonna say it ain't been done in thousands of years because so-called they was keeping up with birth records for a good amount of time before certain slave trades was going on, supposedly. But
Damn.
for hundreds of years at least, we ain't been able to do it. So you know, trying to do it now would take a lot of going against the grain for a nigga to try and say, I found specific bloodlines that go to these 12 to 13 different variants. I don't see that happening. But what I do see is there being ongoing theories since biblical times, BC and AD, keeping up with migration periods as well as in modern times, even in times like Columbus in the Americas, people documenting in English that there were dark people in the Americas that claimed to be the Israelites, that claimed to be the lost tribes, from people on the west coast of Americas claiming to come from the tribe of Reuben and the tribe of Issachar, as well as Gadites, uh, Benjamites, and Judites on the southeastern coast of America, and a lot of them were tied by the similarities of religious practices and diets and things of that nature. Uh, you can follow the Mississippian theory, and you know it's a couple good sources that line up with early practices of those settlers in the Americas that line up with the biblical Hebrews, and that's the most modern
What?
that
I'm
I
about to
come
hit you with.
across.
Hey, I got where the Little John. You know what? I'm downloading the Little John ad lib right now. What?
That's the most
I'm gonna let you go ahead though.
that's the most modern information that I've come across in the Americas before the time of Columbus that would tie somebody to, you know, the theory of them being Israelites and from the lost tribe.
Oh, you said theory. Okay. I was gonna say, what? You got some
Look
strong
at
man. I'm gonna see
him.
you in the finals, nigga.
I
Like
mean, now
coming for the
that's
belt.
why I prefaced everything I said from the jump and said it's not going to be any explicit evidence. It's always going to have to be a theory when dealing with the 12 tribes of Jacob.
Let me see if I can get this Little John what off YouTube.
You cool with that? Like, you cool with it? You know, just being a theory. Like
What you
you wouldn't want something that's like absolute.
You said what?
You wouldn't want something like that's absolute because you said it's really just a theory.
What you mean? Would I want something that's absolute?
Okay, let's say like the difference between having faith and knowing. Like, would you want to have faith
Yeah.
that?
Do you know what a spirit is? You believe you have a spirit?
Yeah, on some degree, I do. I do.
Oh, okay. Well, from my degree, I feel like that's as absolute as it gets. So once it gets into like man-made terminology, I don't feel like any man should try and find his uh what he would call absolute in any man-made terminology. I feel like you just gonna pick a side and try and be biased, and flex your alpha, do as much research as you can, and win arguments. But as far as which
Hey,
term that you want to be called as a black person with kinky hair, it's thousands of terms we can go through literally. But like I say, when you go to the understanding of foundation and religious sources and heritage, mine is the Bible.
Okay, okay, I got you. I got you.
And my absolute is the fact that I know I have a spirit for sure, and I know it's connected with an external source. Anybody that tries to argue that, I feel like you would be arguing something that you don't even believe yourself if you try and say we don't have spirits that are connected to an external source. I don't
Mm.
believe anybody doesn't believe that. I believe a lot of people just don't know how to explain it and don't know how to grasp that part to an absolute to where they can explain it. So they just leave it alone. But me, I say, hey, I feel like there are definitely variations of what these spirits manifested into. And I feel like that's what will tell us and bring us back to I guess what these physical bodies kind of go back to. I feel like some of these physical bodies go back to ancient Mesopotamia. Some of them might go back to, lower in the Nile. Some of them might go back to the high Nile, Egypt area, or well, I guess that is considered low now, the Egypt area technically, because how the river flows. But you get what I'm saying. You South
Yeah.
Africa, motherfuckers come from South Africa, motherfuckers come from North Africa, motherfuckers come from Canaan, etc. I don't believe in that just because we all dark skinned with pinky hair, we all supposed to be being called the one thing. I'm not under that. If anything, I
I rock
believe
with
we
that.
all supposed to be being called black because I
Mm.
do believe that it was a time where
I don't
even
rock
in
with
our
that though.
difference.
You
No,
know,
I'm saying
I'm like a
I'm
shout
saying
out Apollo Bay. You
I
know,
mean, in a sense of not minding being called something, not a preference necessarily, if that makes sense. You see what I'm
okay.
saying? Like if I'm gonna have to deal with it, you know what I'm saying? Y'all calling me that because y'all don't understand. But in a sense, if you're not gonna call everybody brown, if you're gonna call everybody black, that's your ignorance. But if you're
Yeah,
gonna
it's the
label
it's
us
the denotative linguistics, but I get what you're saying.
right,
Mm.
but if you're gonna call everybody the same thing because of something, then I'm cool with one simple term. If you gonna pick a color like that, I
I
don't
got
mind.
you.
But I still understand the differences, and I feel like it was possibly a time where niggas was thriving even through selling laborers. I'm not one of them people that's like, man, slavery was, I feel like that shit turned into some bullshit. I feel
Hey,
like niggas at one point in time probably didn't have a problem waking up, working for another man every day, getting some money because y'all ass ain't got a problem with doing it now.
Yeah, they probably thought it was a job. You know,
That's clearly when you look into the ancient terms from every language, most of the time a slave isn't something that was being held under rigor. Like even in biblical terms, when niggas was in
no.
captivity, they weren't supposed to be ruling with rigor.
They was ruling with rigor, boy. They'll put a motherfucker stake in your eye. Don't make me pull up the scripture. I had a debate on it. I won.
do you agree with Captain Tazariak? He said the Bible is anti-African. You agree with that?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Real
So why
quick,
is it why is there so many fashions within the fashion? Like within the Hebrew Israelite community. there's a lot of different sects. Like y'all don't necessarily agree with everything.
I feel like the Bible is anti following shit that is too physical and starts to take away from divine in an almighty divine source. Once you constantly come up with physical shit and things to worship yourself and say I'm gonna just worship my granddaddy instead of more external sources, then it's like, man, that's what I see the Bible constantly being against. I don't see the Bible being against any actual person, any actual nation other than things like certain judgment that will be going on amongst the people and then certain judgments that will possibly come to the people.
Mm.
And that's everybody when you talk about, judgment. I don't see no one specific people that the Bible is saying these people are uh it forever. When you talk about the perpetual hate for Esau, yes, the scriptures are in there. Everybody understands that it clearly says, Jacob I love, Esau have I hated. From my understanding, that's because of the understanding of the pre-existence of that spirit, and that spirit being something that wasn't going into the seed of Esau first. So him knowing that it was going to be a spirit that came through Esau, he hated that for them. That-
Yeah.
and
Mute
it
out, Jesse.
clearly showed throughout. It clearly showed throughout, through who the Edomites were, certain things like that, etc. The war on Amalek forever, all that. So I feel like it gets played out accordingly with every nation that's quote unquote hated by the Lord. I don't see no anti-African or necessarily anti-European. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that.
I got one last question, and I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, I
And
Mhm.
I,
want to pass it to Jada Snake after this one.
okay, and I appreciate your responses and stuff like that. I heard somebody else ask this question before. I just thought it was kind of funny, but I wanted to get your opinion. How do you feel about Malachi 2 verse 3?
Uh, I almost know that off the dome, but let me go to it verbatim. Oh yeah. It say, Behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung upon your faces and the dung of your solemn feasts, and one shall take you away with it.
All right, so if you went against your God and he rubbed shit in your face, would you still feel the same way about him?
Still one of my favorite verses in the Bible. Sorry. It's always forever gonna be a favorite. Go ahead. Let you
Yeah,
finish.
I mean, see, when you had an understanding, that I do as a Hebrew, and when I say that's one of the reasons I call myself Hebrew, not because of a doctrine that a nigga came up with in a chart. That's not me. It's my understanding of even trying to go into understanding Hebrew language, the understanding that a lot of our ancestors were unconsciously and consciously keeping Hebrew traditions, and we may have been paying attention and keeping them ourselves as well, and kind of actually getting away from it from because of niggas making it look a certain way. But from garments, certain diets, etc., a lot of it was the tradition of the Israelites, especially in the people that were claiming to be Israelites in the early Americas. I'm not sure where you from in origin in America, if you are, but like I say, when you get a chance, just look into the Mississippian theory. It's pretty interesting and intrigued me, especially with the age that it was. But like I say, I
Yep.
definitely get into the language as well. When you get into the priesthood and understand things like sacrifices and what they were doing at the altars, that's when the in your face would kind of be relevant. You see what I'm saying? So the dung in your face is almost, in a sense, saying that whatever you put on the altar ain't gonna mean nothing to me. And it kind of alludes to that more when it says, even the dung upon your solemn feast, because that's not the only thing that they were putting on the altars, but they were also putting food on the altar. But that, like I say, it's always
They
cool
was
to
putting
me
shit on
when
the altar.
people. You said what?
You said they was putting shit on the altar.
No, I said they weren't just putting food on the altar. That's why it says, uh, spread dung upon your faces and even the dung upon your solemn feast, because it's certain things that they were putting on the altar other than food. But when you're dealing with the altar, it was considered in their face. I'm not
Man,
sure if you're familiar with the story of Nadab
that
and
nigga
Abihu, but
said
that's
even he didn't say the dung from. He said the dung of your solemn feast, which is like the shit from your sacrificed animals. Like that's like foul, my dude. Like, but I'm trying to get the I don't know if it's like a message or a metaphor as far as how you explaining it, but I'm trying to figure it out.
one thing I haven't ever done was like read it in another version, and then that's I've gotten into that a
Try to
couple.
get the metaphor.
I got into it a couple times.
I was trying to too. I ain't gonna cap. I'm listening like,
I've got into it a couple times, and
but
Like a
I
nigga,
see
listen,
what he's.
I'm
It's in
listening with
their
my mouth.
face.
I'm listening with my mouth open.
It's in their face at the altar. I was like, oh shit, okay. I thought
Yeah,
he was about to land that plane like smooth landing, but no, that fucker's a little rough. I'm fucking with you, man. You.
I ain't gonna lie, you were laughing so hard I couldn't even tell what you were saying.
Okay, good. Jay, the snake. What's popping, man? How you feeling today? What's your background again, just for everybody else on the panel? No, he muted out. He muted out. Okay, we'll go ahead. Yeah, he muted. You muted, Jay. All right, he probably just listening. He'll tap in a second.
But yeah, I'm a different kind of camp brew, for the record, bro. I don't I don't deal with the shenanigans. Some
oh boy.
niggas consider all of it shenanigans, but I'm talking about the shenanigans that come with the doctor and a bunch of the shit you see on the internet and shit. That's what I mean when I say shenanigans. I don't deal with that.
Yeah, you're solid. You're a solid guy, man. I'm sorry to say that. He is.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir.
that's Emmanuel Holloway for the win right now. He got the belt. He took the win over the number 1 seed in the tournament. I'm not sure if y'all are hip to this, but I'll go ahead and play the little 60 seconds.
Sure.
These are not just speakers. These are thinkers, forged in fire. Warriors of words stepping into destiny. Welcome to the Coliseum of arguments, where logic clashes with conviction and ideas spill like blood in the sand. 16 titans, 16 minds, one path to immortality. They come seeking truth, they fight for redemption, they burn for revenge. Featuring the intellectual elite of the Titans Debate League. Every round a new war, every word a new weapon. Every titan ready to fall or rise in glory. This is not debate, this is combat. Step into the Coliseum of arguments. Only the brave speak here. Are you not entertained?
Hey, you got a real life.
Yeah, that's what we got going on over here. It's a $500 cash prize for this tournament. The winner of each round will be receiving $50 on the road to the finals. We are more than halfway through the first round, actually. Let me go ahead and play I got a little halftime show video. It's only a minute, just so y'all can see who won and everything, because I see y'all not hip to this.
That was low key intense.
Yeah. Hey, that's me on the voiceover. You hear me getting it in? Hey, you funny. Hey, it's going, man. We keeping it light. We keeping it lit. That's one thing I
I'm,
can say, man. This
I'm like,
shit,
this nigga talking directly to me.
this might be right up your lane. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people been doing this for free anyway. You know what I'm saying? They ain't been getting paid for it. So that just make it even that more intense, even that more serious every time these debaters hit the stage, man. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I think
It
I
was a
won
crash out. Niggas was crashing out tonight, man.
tonight.
Yeah, niggas was crashing out. I mean, it was a result show. You know how some people are sore losers, and you know how it goes sometimes, man. If I was you, I'd go back and watch that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go
That's
catch that.
definitely funny, man.
Was it the video before this one?
You will see it. It says results show like on the little
So,
icon on it. So yeah, it was actually the video before this one today. Dang, I can't even find the. Where did I say that? Okay, here we go. Where Titans become legends. Boom. Here we go. It's me on the beat too. Don't worry about it. I do everything.
okay.
I do it all. If y'all need some instrumentals, shout out Emmanuel. That's who you've been chopping it with all night tonight. He took the win over High Mayan. Big Hemi advancing around 2 over Ison. Honey Clark had her opponent so scared he didn't even show up. And we can't forget the argument lead captain. Where he at? It's going slow to the mother. I gotta get some more little right there. Okay, Suave Boss. He reigned victorious over King Naga. And he got his $50 cash. Zion today, the crash out king. He took the win over Taz. But due to his lackluster decorum, he won't be advancing. He won over Taz, but Taz will be advancing due to Zion's decorum. We don't play that over here. And shout out everybody who was advancing around 2 thus far. We still have Pandemics versus Idol Kakarot, Chris Harris versus Apollo Bay on Sunday, and Yaya versus Silky on Friday. Yeah, we about to wrap this round 1 up. We moving around 2. We will be making some slight adjustments for round 2. Some things I learned. You know, I'm new to the game, so thank y'all for rocking with me. Hey, these graphics tight. I did this too. But yeah, if y'all need some graphics and all that, you know, holla at me too. You know, I put you together. I need to make a graphic for my graphics. Coming soon.
You say you did that beat?
Yeah, and I did that beat. I got a YouTube page at Ohio Beat Cartel. At Ohio Beat Cartel. You just spell it the regular cartel. I ain't do nothing fancy.
The regular cartel.
Ohio
like one word?
Cartel. Yeah, at Ohio Beat Cartel on YouTube. You can type youtube.com/. I'll pull it up, man. I'll pull it up. Don't worry.
What up, Vino? I see you, Vino.
Advertise myself. But y'all can go ahead and get it in, man. Jay, if you back, go ahead, chime in. I wanted to hear your background again.
Hey, check backstage. I think he might have dropped all the way off.
Oh, he might just been listening. Yeah, he ain't back there. But you told me that. Talking, that nigga probably been gone, huh? How late am I? Ohio Beat Cartel. Yeah, the tournament lit, man. This shit fun. It's the funnest shit I ever did. I did a lot of shit.
I'm about to go watch that. What you say it was called? The Result Show?
Yeah, the Result Show.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch
every debate.
I got a phone call coming in. My bad. My daughter calling me. So if y'all still live, I'm gonna pull back up. But in the meantime, I'm gonna peep that video too. That shit sound funny as hell.
Bet.
Peace to you, Copper. It's 3:11 on my side of town, man. I'm a peace to the whole chat as well. Peace, Jesse. Hey, one peace, my brother. It's always a pleasure. You know that.
Adios. Nisha posted a video in the chat. Wassalamualaikum salam. Who said that? That was you, Jesse?
That was me, yeah.
Oh, you out of here too?
Oh man, before
Okay.
I
Yeah, get your
guess
shout outs, man. We might as well close it down. It's 3 a.m. where I'm at.
yeah. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I just wanted to say, I I hit that brother with a few sources from the Bible.
Hmm.
I think he quite understood quite clearly. I think he was still trying to like dance around the fact that it says very clearly in John 16, don't follow that man who persecutes the church, and he was trying to focus on um, on his conversion, but even the conversion period is going to be according to Saul. So I mean, like Saul is the one who's telling people that he received a vision from Jesus, and Jesus told you not to follow that man. So we got to talk about that a little bit. I didn't. I had a few more verses for him because I was going to go into the angel, and I was going to show in Revelations how that angel referred to himself as the bright and morning star, same as the Satan who appeared in Isaiah. But inshallah, I guess I'll keep that in my arsenal, or save it for another day.
Definitely. You say he was dancing around Emmanuel Halawaya. I know you watching right now because that's how he is. So I'm sure he's gonna double back around. See, he in the chat right now. He said, "That's crazy. What you talking about?"
I was gonna say that the brother got saved by the other brother who was talking about the Hebrew Israelite stuff. You know what I'm saying? That it went to with the conversation went in another direction, but I think that was in his best because I think he understood completely what I was saying, but he just didn't want to admit it.
That's how he be. Some hey, Emmanuel, I think you need to. You know what? I'm not gonna tell him to pop back up. We gonna set that up for another day. Uh, I'm gonna go
the,
ahead and
the
end this
verses
with
ain't going nowhere, man. You know what I'm saying? The verses are always gonna be there. That's not changing in the Bible. That's gonna be there.
shout out V Note the most in the building. Definitely need to get you up here on one of these panels one day. He said we never got to talk. Emmanuel Holland over here. Hey man, pull back up. Um, let them know. Yeah, pull back up and let's get a date on a discussion. Let's set. No, you know what? I'm gonna add them to the group. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get it set up. We're gonna get a discussion out of you two gentlemen on a formal topic because you two
Hey,
were talking about a lot today. Nothing. Nothing. Not a formal debate. Just had you back to talk again. And y'all have a good night. I'm gonna end with the song by Connie's son. Jesse, stay in the back until the end of the show for me.
I got you. And I just wanted to say real quick. Is it too late to hop in that tournament?
It is too late to hop in the tournament. We're more than halfway through the first round. I have 3 debates left. They'll all be wrapped up this week. Chris Harris is on Sunday, Pan is on Wednesday, and Silky is on Friday. So this week, round 1 will be wrapped up actually, but it's gonna go fast. Like I'm about to have another one, so it's gonna go back to back. It's not gonna stop.
Man,
So you
put
only
me
gotta
in
wait
as
like a month and a half. You wait a month and a
I was gonna
half, we're gonna be
say, hey
starting
man, you
another
put
one.
me in as a special character, or you
That's
put
what,
me in
hey,
as
I just had somebody crash out today, but if I would have talked to you earlier, maybe it could have worked out. But I end up just letting Taz advance because I
or
wasn't gonna deal with the
make
crashing
it
out
make a
stuff.
change of plans and let me take his spot.
We still have the gauntlet, where it's $50 win, lose, or draw. You know what I'm saying? So pull up. We definitely want your voice on here. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying. Stick around so we could talk about it
All right,
after I'm gonna play this little outro song.
all right, bet. So just stay
Bet.
on here.
And Emmanuel said he's gonna pull up. Yeah, just stay on here for me. And
All right,
Emmanuel
bet.
said he's gonna pull up tomorrow. He's gonna do a show tomorrow. So I know you're gonna be able to catch him tomorrow again and come give him a little smoke. You feel me?
I got you.
He do a show like 2 times a week. I'm gonna talk to you though. All right,
All
y'all
right,
have a
bet.
good night. We about to play "Family" by Connie's son.
Family all around me. Family all around me. He my family, she my family. He my family, she my family. He my family, she my family. We are family. We might have the same last name, but that don't make you my family. I got some people with the same blood, and I know that they can't stand me. I got some people I call that ain't kin, that's gonna pull up and handle it. They take care of that business like family. We come from them trenches like family. They talking, you listen, that's family. They don't tell your business, that's family. They calling your phone, coming looking for you. They say that you missing, that's family. They don't need permission, that's family. When you hurt, they can feel it, that's family. Let them come while you're cheering, that's family. Let them come when you living, that's family. Family all around me. Family all around me. He my family, she my family. He my family, she my family. He my family, she my family. We are family all around me. Family all around me. He my family, she my family. He my family, she my family. He my family, she my family. We are family. Hey, ain't nobody fighting around here. Ain't nobody shooting around here. Everybody that's around here, family. All love, no hate, be clear. No shade, all love, be real. You love them, you should know how it feel. Tired of all these badass kids. Tired of paying all these bills. Family going through the same thing, so they know exactly how you feel. They supply a shoulder I can cry. I provide a place where they can heal. Leave my money out, they don't steal. Let them have it if it's for a bill. Soldier for me when they in the field. Only way I live. Family all around me. Family all around me. He my family, she my family. He my family, she my family. He my family, she my family. We are family all around me. Family all around me. He my family, she my family. He my family, she my family. He my family, she my family. We are family. We might have the same last name, but that don't make you my family. I got some people with the same blood, and I know that they can't stand me. I got some people I call that ain't kin, that's gonna pull up and handle it. They take care of that business like family. We come from them trenches like family. Family all around me.